Yeah, I like horror.
Did you like Midsummer?
Which one's that?
That's the one with the like Swedish cult.
Swedish cult.
I'll have to see.
The two people, like the old people on the rock. Fuck, that was good.
No, I haven't seen this. Is it in Swedish?
No, it's not. It's the guy that did Hereditary. You've seen that?
Yeah, I like Hereditary.
Same guy. So like same vibes. Or you're like, yeah. This is there's a documentary on Dune and what it was supposed to be, and it's a really sick documentary.
Huh.
This is a good horror movie. It's called The Taking of Deborah Logan.
I've scrolled past that 100 times, and maybe I'll watch that one if I can't fall asleep. Well, I can never fall asleep right after this.
It's one of those movies that's really creepy for like the first. I'm gonna guess it's 90 minutes long, so it's like really creepy for 65, 75 minutes. And then the last 15 minutes, it's just like, oh shit, oh shit, oh no.
You know what I liked, and I usually don't. Usually a horror movie, like sequels suck, and I know this movie got panned and people hated it. I thought Sinister 2 was pretty good.
It was fine.
Like it was creepy enough. It was spooky enough. You know, I don't mind jump scares. I feel like it's a little lazy. If it's all jump scares, then I don't like that because it feels.
Yeah, they got to be mixed in.
But if they sprinkle those in tactfully, jump scares can be real good.
The Babadook, for whatever reason, for whatever reason, that really, really fucked me up. I literally didn't finish it because I was just like tired of being frightened.
I hate that kid, eh? Do you hate that kid?
I hated the kid.
I hated the kid so much.
But I
in the backseat of that car, I was just like, God, I hope the Babadook. I want the Babadook to win.
That got me. Yeah,
we're going to Lowe's. I'm rolling the windows up, and I'm going lumber shopping. Hang out in the back seat for 3 to 5 hours.
Yeah.
That kid would have to go.
Babadook was good. I think the first time I saw it, I was a little disappointed it wasn't scarier because you had talked it up like it was going to be the big baddest one ever.
It scared me.
I watched it a second time, and well, this was still a long time ago, but it was really good the second time too.
It was not long after Wings of Redemption had moved out of my house, so I was still living in the basement, and it was kind of scary down there. And I just remember and we were high, and all the lights were out, and the house was completely quiet, and completely blacked out. And I just remember that Babadook opens the door and starts crawling on the ceiling, and the woman is under the covers, and she lowers the covers and looks up, and it's on the ceiling right above the fucking bed, and it drops on her. And that's where I paused it. I changed it to fucking Netflix, and I was like, we're done here. And she's like, thank God.
Oh no, you gotta finish. Have you seen what was this one? Insidious?
Yeah, it's good.
I like that one. Insidious.
Is that the one with what's that guy's name? God damn it! I can't
think back the end.
Darth Maul guy, isn't it?
I think you'd feel differently about
Ethan
that whole
Hawke
movie, Kyle, if you got to the end of it, because they really put a bow on it and explained things that
it was her depression or some shit like that being manifested.
You're close.
Or
yeah.
The Boy was good. Did you ever see The Boy? I thought that was such an under the radar movie that I never heard of, and I caught it on Netflix.
Another one I've scrolled past. You liked it?
Boy, it was really like, if you don't know how that ends, that's a good one. And they have The Boy 2 coming out soon. But I would recommend it because it was one of those ones where like I didn't know it was going to be good, and I was like, how have I not seen it? I must be shit. And I put it on, and then I'm like, kind of like, why didn't anyone tell me to watch this?
I like The Taking of Deborah Logan a lot because essentially what it is, I'm not going to spoil anything, but I'm going to give you like the basic premise. This lady has Alzheimer's, and her daughter is allowing this film crew to come document her mother's Alzheimer's because the payday that they'll get from allowing this film crew to come will allow her to help with her mother's assisted living, essentially. And weird stuff starts happening in the house, and you're viewing through the literal lens of that film crew who is documenting the Alzheimer's. And you know, in movies when like scary shit starts happening and you're like, I'd have been gone.
Yeah.
I'd have fucking left. Well, one of the guys in the film crew is like, fuck this shit. Fuck you. Fuck this job. And fuck all of you. As a matter of fact, fuck the old lady. Fuck this creepy house. I'm out. And she's like, how are we going to finish the film without you? He's like, I don't fucking care. I'm not dealing with this crazy shit. He gets in his fucking car. He leaves. You never see him again. And I was like, shit, is this real?
See, I
Is
that's
this fucking real?
I love that addition to it because that makes it feel more real.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where one person leaves and then whoever's in charge of the job, well, this makes it doubly important for the rest of us to take it seriously. Let's buckle down. Like, that would always happen. It's like,
Hello,
hey,
my
we're
name
in
is
this foreign cabin we found. I found a goat head nailed to a post, and it's Satan's my friend. And it's like, wow, that's really interesting. You want to spend the night? And it's like, no, I don't. Another good one. I was just looking on Google trying to remind myself of all the horror I've watched. The Autopsy of Jane Doe. Have we talked about that one before? Have you
No, I haven't seen that.
That's a real fucking good. It's a creepy. I won't spoil anything, but an unidentified female corpse comes in, and it's real to a morgue, not walked in, like brought in on a.
I follow.
Yeah, and the mortician and like his son / assistant start working on it, and basically it's just a series of fucking really creepy. There's a couple jump scares, but it's mostly like a slow, creepy burn. It's really good. I liked that one. And then have you seen Oculus, the one with the mirror?
I don't know. I usually skip the ones that have like a premise like that.
Dude, Haunted Mirror sounds retarded, right? That's what I thought when I started it, because I love chintzy, terrible horror movies as much as I do the good ones. I just like horror movies. Yeah. And I started that one with the idea in my head of like Haunted Mirror, fucking perfect. This is going to be like there's that horror movie Shrooms. It's absurd. I don't even think they had that on Netflix.
Zombievers.
Yes, it's going to be like Zombievers. And then like get like half an hour in, it's
that
like
chick's titties and Zombievers.
Scary. Yeah, Oculus is fucking creepy.
But the scariest movies that I've ever seen are both have the same. It's about what I'm afraid of, right? Like, I'm not saying they're the scariest movies ever. They're the movies that scared me the most because of what I'm actually afraid of. I'm afraid of alien abduction. And as a kid, I used to watch a lot of X-Files, and I used to watch a lot of Unsolved Mysteries. And there would always have these like alien abduction like plot lines. And it's basically like you're going to be kidnapped and tortured by these horrific looking beings, and then nobody's going to believe you, and you'll be and maybe if you're lucky they'll erase your memory, and they're just going to keep coming and doing it over and over, and no one's going to believe you. Best case scenario, everyone thinks you're crazy. And that was just so terrifying to me. And the two movies that I watched that like exemplify it perfectly, one of them, Fire in the Sky.
I knew it. Yeah, that fucked me up as a kid, man.
It's so scary. It's based on, look, you can do some reading on the backstory of it and the what word am I looking for? Validity. The validity of that story. And it's based on a true story. I know that guy passed several lie detector tests regarding what he claims happened to him, and his friends all agree that there was a light in the sky. He disappeared, and the authorities were searching for him for several days before he was found again, naked. And that movie is terrifying. Like seeing what happens.
I was thinking about that hot needle thing going to the eye. Do you remember that? It was like a hot spiky needle.
Yeah,
it just used to freak me out as a kid. I was like, "Yo, these aliens are gonna fucking stick needles in my eye and suck my dick and my ass."
Yeah, they're gonna put that weird goop down my throat. There's a part where he's like laying he's laying on the table, and they take this like vacuum. They like vacuum seal him to the table with like this latex shit, and they sort of cut holes in the latex as they need to access a body part. So at first he's like suffocating because it's over his face, and they like cut a hole in it. So and he's like, and the alien immediately takes a handful of what looks like brown jello and just slops it into his mouth. And it's just like, fuck, what is that? What's the brown jello for? You know, it's just awful shit. And then the other one, also alien abduction, and it's The Fourth Kind with Mila Jovovich. And I don't know, something about that fucked me up, man.
Fourth Kind, I feel like I saw that a long time ago. I don't know, or maybe I haven't.
It came out around 2006. Oh, okay. I was thinking 2006, but
2009 is around 2006. You got it right.
Honestly, really though, 2005, 2009 is the exact same shit.
It scared me real bad. There's a lot of like that thing where they warp people's faces. And there's a lot of and there's this part, it's basically this community, I want to say in Alaska, where I think the woman does that like memory regression therapy stuff. For she has all these patients with this same recurring dream. Oh, even talking about it's creeping me out, man. Like
the kind you're talking about?
Yeah, their dream is that there's a big white owl outside. A white owl. Yeah. Whew. Yeah. Man, it's creeping me out. It's like because I'm picturing it. The white owl is outside their bedroom window, and they're all like lying on her couch, telling her this. Like she keeps hearing the same thing. And what it is, I won't spoil it.
Yeah, don't spoil it because I'm gonna watch this one. I'm always looking for horror.
Again, some
Taylor,
people. There's some people who think
real life PKA, and you don't show up outside his window in that. I'll be so disappointed.
Look,
I would love to do that.
You will get yelled at so loud.
He's making a no gun joke.
Well, that's the only way I would feel safe to do it.
I will yell at you so loud.
And we need to set it up, Woody, so when he runs in the other room to get you, and then you go, "What's see where Taylor is?" You go in there, and I'll have run in by that time. Laying in the bed. What's going on? I'm not in an owl outfit.
That gif I linked is from one of the movies that I suggested. I won't tell you which.
I've seen this.
I don't think I have.
I've definitely seen this scene.
Oh, I've seen this also. Where have I seen this?
That's hard to look at.
Meh.
It's hard to look at.
I love that. Where is this from? I've seen this.
It's from The Taking of Deborah Logan.
Oh, maybe I have seen that.
Yeah, me too. I'm thinking I've seen that now.
This looks familiar. Yeah, the guy in the wall eating.
No, it's that's a woman eating a child head first.
Oh, yeah. Maybe I have. Yeah, I'll watch it again. Whatever. This looks really familiar though.
It's fucked.
I think
maybe I was like fucking drunk when I watched it.
I would really like another Freddy movie.
Nah.
I know we revisited it before, and we didn't like doing that. But I think it's been a long time, like enough time. I happen to like and enjoy the movie. Just one time going to see it. The Problem Child, the fucking Child's Play. I was okay with that movie. I think horror movies, I go in, I spend $10, I watch this movie, and I leave. And was I like, fuck that? Or was I like, whoa? There was some moments
I didn't watch the new Child's Play because they changed it from being the soul of a serial killer,
which was like the best part too.
Which was the best part to it being a defective toy.
But I think wait, but I'll be honest with you guys. I think there was it's because of if it was trademark issues. It's the guy that made Child's Play, and it has Chucky in it. But there were elements of the story, which is why it was called Child's Play. But there's another one called Chucky because they're different. Like they split into two, kind of. Like the guy that made Child's Play, he sold off the rights of Chucky and everything or whatever with it. So like Chucky went, which is I don't think they called him Chucky in the newest movie. And like the whole Chucky trademark is held by a different company now.
No.
So
they shouldn't have made it then.
I know what you mean. Like I know sometimes I'm just like I'm, you know what? I'm kind of like, take the shot. If you fucking miss, you fucked up and you missed it. But like, I'm okay that they try. Like that Ghostbusters movie where there was all girls. I wasn't mad that they made it. I was just like, well, it sucks.
Man, that it was bad.
And it was bad. But like, fuck, it didn't make Ghostbusters, my movies, worse because this existed, you know?
Yeah. I mean, Ghostbusters 2 was bad as well.
I think
I'm surprised you're disappointed by the Chucky movie thing. Like, I've only seen the original Chucky, but it was just awful.
I've seen most of them. I just didn't watch the remake.
I rewatched the first Chucky movie a lot, even growing up as a kid, because I fucking loved the beginning. But after that, I like the other movies better. Chucky's a character, but I always watched that first one because as a kid, I thought the black magic was so cool, and putting himself into the doll was so cool. But I
couldn't look at it anymore.
Oh, you bumped it? Yeah,
I deleted it. I didn't want to look at it anymore. That GIF is just repeating.
Thought the Chucky wasn't scary enough. Like 17-year-old Woody can beat a little doll with a knife. Yeah, right? Like it's like being attacked by fucking, I don't know, gerbils
A
or
doll.
something, right?
Yeah.
A doll, right? But I don't care how psychotic and murderous this gerbil is. I'm going to win. I'm huge by comparison. The doll didn't have super strength. It was what?
Nope.
Sneaky? I don't know. Like
Sneaky. It was sneaky, and it had a fucking butcher's knife.
yeah,
But
lots of
you get
knives.
lost in that thing. The sneakiness only lasts for one time. If you're walking around and you go, oh fuck, that thing's walking around, it's got a knife. I will never be snuck up on by that thing again. Ever.
Nope.
I will put enough distance between myself and that with a 1 minute jog that it's insurmountable for that thing. It will never find me again.
You see, the reason that Chucky doesn't frighten me a bit is the same reason that the alien abduction movies scare the fucking shit out of me.
Okay.
Because
No one would believe you.
that's part of why they're scary. But what I'm getting at is that I'm not afraid of Chucky. If there was a real Chucky, bring him on.
And there
All
isn't, right? The alien thing.
Fuck that doll up.
Maybe
some
that's
people
another
act
thing
like
about
they
the
know,
aliens.
but maybe is a great answer. Maybe, right?
Mhm.
Dolls that come to life and get murdered. That's not a
Bullshit.
thing. Yeah.
Look, I would snatch Chucky up and throw him in the oven, and we'd have a good old. There'd be a great fucking Reddit clip that I'd record while I melted his ass alive.
Mock him
Dude,
through
I'm
the
so not
window.
scared of
I'd
Chucky
mock him through
that-
the windows as he melted
Yeah.
alive.
No,
However,
he's so not scary that like if I grabbed him and in a panic, threw him in my oven and closed it, I would have the foresight to be like, "Ugh, I'm gonna have melted plastic all over my oven. It's an enormous. You know what? I'm just gonna burn him in the yard. Like, if it's that level of introspection in a moment of terror, it's not that scary.
I did always think that, not always, but once I saw Dream Warriors and knew it was a thing, I was always like, bro, Freddy, like, you're not Jason. Jason, you catch me sleeping, I'm fucking bent backwards in half. Or you catch me getting a hand job in the woods, I'm getting my head cut off. 100% Jason's got me. But Freddy, bro, you want to come in here? Like, we're sucking dick together, bro. Our dads. You got issues, bro. You don't want to come in here. You're not coming out the same Freddy. Like, this is the
You're not coming
battleground.
out the same-
My
I think you're
brain,
scarred now.
like, bro, we're gonna fucking I'm gonna make you come. Freddy's gonna wake up from a wet dream if he ever fucks with me. I'll be like, bro, I'm gonna fuck. He's like, you can't hurt me. I'm like, I'm not gonna hurt you. I'll make you come.
Yeah,
You're gonna question your sexuality when you wake up. You're gonna be like, whoa.
I'm gonna
but
fuck you
it's
till you
real
love me.
burned and shitty. Like his
And
dick
I'm gonna
all-
wake, and because if you get busted in your mouth in your dreams, it happens in real life. So I'm gonna wake up and be like, oh, if you're gay in your dreams, you're gay for real. But like Freddy, like ever since I saw Dream Warriors, I'm like, oh, you could do that? He's just better at it than you. That's like when you got to go into your dreams, you got to start training. You got to be like, I got to do the shit
Practice
that's so
lucid dreaming.
fucked up. Freddy's gonna be fucked up, and yeah, like sucking his dick is the craziest thing you could do to Freddy. 'cause
Oh,
he's
that
not gonna-
burnt, scabby dick.
exactly, bro. It's like a soggy breakfast sauce.
I bet his cum tastes like smoky barbecue sauce.
You know, that's,
it tastes like the back. of a
you're winning me over.
It's like when you go to Sonny's and that one bottle just says smoky.
You know, of all those like series, like the Jason, the Freddy, the one that I like the most, and it's not as big as these other two, is Hellraiser. Like
No, Pinhead.
Jason doesn't pull me in.
We need that more. We need that more. You're
Like,
right.
I never have
Pinhead-
nightmares. I rarely, like, I just never get nightmares. If I have dreams, they're just stupid. And, you know,
Okay.
but I think that's why
What
I
are they
like
called? The Cenobites? What are
They're the
called?
Cenobites. Yep.
Cenobites. Yeah, and
They're
I
fucking
watched like
sick.
all of the
I
Hellraiser.
will show you such horrors.
Yeah, Hellraiser's sick. It's way better than Jason and Freddy. Freddy's fucking sucks. At least Jason's better than him.
No, I think Freddy's awesome. Freddy's great, but like, I'm not scared of Freddy. Pinhead is the scariest.
Yeah.
Because
Pinhead
like
is-
Jason's gonna fucking snap my neck. Cool, I'm dead. Freddy's gonna be in your dreams and you're gonna wake up dead. Whatever. You
Yeah.
died in your sleep. Pinhead comes. I'm like, oh, now I'm gonna be tortured until the end of time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sucks.
If you're lucky. Like
Remember
some
when
of
they
the-
pulled the skin off?
Yeah. With all those hooks, and it's just
Remember when he twisted the two security guards together and made them into one being?
And then you had
Oh,
weird ones, remember he
the-
killed that person with CDs.
the Hellraiser movies are sick.
yes, he murdered the person with all the CDs. It was the early 90s. They were cool.
That scene, what does he say? He comes in and it's like the priest is there in the church. He has a line there.
I've got a hot track for you.
It's
No, I
such
don't
a
know.
fucking line.
Yeah,
But Pinhead is crazy, and I really, really want a Hellraiser, a new one, a good
definitely.
one.
I get behind that.
What's his name? The guy that did it. You can still get him. He's still alive, isn't he?
Yeah, he's still alive. I'm looking for some of his quotes because I'm thinking some of his all of his quotes are awful. It's like the
Oh, there's a lot of directors.
no tears, please. It's a waste of good suffering.
Yeah.
We
Yeah,
have
his
such
voice is
sights
so
to
scary.
show you.
Yeah.
We'll tear your soul apart. This isn't for your eyes. And the suffering, the sweet, sweet suffering. Yeah. Pinhead is one of the scariest things. I've told the story before, but when I was in the 5th grade, so I'd have been like 10 or 11, me and my buddy Brad was going to spend the night at my house. And we went to the video warehouse, you know, the local video rental place. And my mom was like, yeah, get 3 they had one of those deals, you know, like get 3 movies for $10 or something for like a 2-day rental. And I threw Hellraiser Bloodline into the mix, which is like the worst Hellraiser movie, but that's irrelevant. I think it's like the 3rd or 4th one.
Dude,
And
they're all so gory and over the top. I'm entertained by all of them.
Yeah, well, Hellraiser Bloodline does this thing where they show you how the box was created, and they skip through 3 different timelines, and they go from like Renaissance to our time to like space, and throughout that time, the same bloodline of the box creator is trying to destroy the box and end Pinhead forever, and we came out of my bedroom when it was time to eat dinner, and my mom had made, you know, those Chef Boyardee like boxes of pizza where you get like the dough and the little sauce can and everything. That was my favorite as a kid. I loved that shit. And she had made that for us. And me and Brad are sitting there looking at our like slices of Chef Boyardee pizza, and we're just not touching it. And she's like, "What's wrong?" And I was just like, we watched a scary movie.
that was the first Hellraiser I saw, though. That was the first one I ever saw.
That was the first one that I saw too.
That made me pursue, and then I went and I rented the first one, and I thought I was like, yo, I love horror, I love scary. I rented the first one, and the body being created in the attic was such an old style of horror that like I wasn't ready for it yet. It was like shit was still like colorful and pop, like when Bloodlines came out. It was cool and silly effects. This was like so realistic. I was like, how the fuck did they do this?
And they
I'm like 9. I'm like, how the fuck did
Yeah.
they fucking do this, man?
And it's not like pop out scares over the top. It's like there's a lot of scenes in the Hellraiser movies where it's like, I'm not fully scared right now. I have a feeling of like
apprehension.
This is wrong. It's just it's more a disturbing where you're like, yeah, when that guy's body amalgamates out of goo and you see the whole thing coming together, and like,
it doesn't amalgamate out of goo, it amalgamates out of semen, right?
Some bodily fluid. I don't remember exactly.
Yeah. I definitely in the book it's cum.
In the movie, I think it's blood. By the way, I think it's blood in the movie.
It's blood. I think you're right. I think it's blood. The dad cuts his hand on that nail, and it's like a really nasty nail like tear on his hand. The dad coincidentally played Garrick in Star Trek Deep Space Nine. For all you mega nerds out there, you'll recognize the dad from Hellraiser 1, who eventually gets his face torn off and worn by his brother at the end. And then he kisses his niece, like tongue kisses her while wearing her dad's face. Double incest.
Yeah.
That's a Yahtzee.
Oh,
that's a Yahtzee.
Do you know what the scariest moment for me as a kid ever watching horror movies? And probably because I thought I was so good, and this came after Hellraiser, and I thought I was a fucking pro. So I sat in movie rental places trying to find movies that will scare the shit out of me. And I rented one, and it was so fucking boring, and I didn't think it was scary. And the final image of the movie was so fucking scary. The movie was Sleepaway Camp. And I've
seen that. The 1983 version? Yeah, I've seen that.
Fuck. The whole movie's about, spoiler alert, The whole movie's about these two kids, a boy and a girl, go and one of them dies in this accident early on. So you watch this whole movie where you're watching this little girl and you don't know who the killer is, and people are showing up dead. And then you find out at the end of the movie, the little girl is the killer, but she was a guy.
And you see his dick.
They show her standing there with her hairy dick, his hairy dick, and the knife, and this frozen face that if you could pull up the picture, as a kid, it was not even about anything else. It was just this image.
Why does her face look like that?
So funny you brought that up. I watched that movie for the first time a week ago.
Well, there's a dick in it.
The face looks like that because it's a guy's body with the girl.
The fuck does her face look like that for?
Bro, imagine.
Okay, Link, even for me.
Yeah.
Can you send the link? Oh yeah. So basically, that face, she is the shy. You can't show that obviously, but the shy, like, it doesn't look like you're gonna watch it, Kyle. So I'll go ahead and spoil it. It's from 1983. So basically, like, she's this quiet little girl the whole time, and there's mysterious deaths and things occurring, and there's a lot of people that look like they should be responsible. And there's this one guy. This is the last person you expect the entire fucking movie until about the last 20 minutes, and then you're like, nothing's been wrapped up. It's going to be that creepy ass bitch. But yeah, that scene at the end, it is really scary. It gives you a dropping feeling.
Oh, that's a nice tuck job she's got there. I'm looking at her in a bikini earlier.
No, it's not.
I know it's not a real dick.
Well, sometimes the things you say and believe make me question.
No, this is a real male body with the mask on top. They swap it. You're going to see there's a picture where it looks more like the girl, and that's the girl, where they do a shot from up top, and then from there it goes to the wide, and this wide shot, even the face she's making is weird. And as a kid, then you see the dick, and you're like, "What the fuck did this mean?" Like, it was like, you're like, "What the fuck happened?" You're like, "Why does she have a dick?" You're not thinking that the kid died. You're not connecting these dots. You're just a kid, and you're like, "Whoa, this person's fucked up." You're kind of like, do I know girls with dicks? What's happening? You're like, she was quiet the whole, like, it just really, you didn't expect it. It's always so clear cut. It's like it's Freddy Krueger, and he's like, "I'm gonna fucking kill you, bitch," and you're like, haha, or Jake. And this one, it just shows you this image, and I was just like, me and my friends are like, and it ends and the credits roll. We were both like we were kind of like abused, like we were like sexually assaulted in the eyes.
Dude, you're right, because that movie is tremendously milquetoast and not scary for the first 1 hour and 27.5 minutes, and then in the last 35 seconds you get all that, and it's like, oh wow, they're really building for a big, they're edging for a cum.
Maybe that's too much edging.
It's way too much edging. I wouldn't rewatch the movie, but that last scene is very disturbing.
Yikes!
So.
I don't know. I recently watched what is it, The Taking of? No, that's that other movie that I want you to watch. It's
The Taking of Deborah.
So The Taking of Deborah Logan is that movie that I want.
Jane Doe, the one I recommended to you. Did you watch that?
I didn't watch that one. I'm gonna write that one down. But I watched The Exorcism of Emily Rose, which I had never seen before.
It's a good movie.
It was more courtroom drama and less exorcism than I would have hoped.
Yeah, I've only seen that once, and it was like right when it came out. It was the least scary movie I've ever watched.
There was one scary part, and it was because everything had been so like grounded and not scary, and then all of a sudden they did that CGI face thing where the face goes ah, and the eyes like melt down the face, and I wasn't prepared for that, and I was just like, fuck, fuck, I didn't know that was coming. And then there's this one part where like the boyfriend is asleep in bed. He's sleeping with Emily because she's been disturbed, and he's looking out for her. And he wakes up and she's on the floor all contorted, like fingers all like messed up and like bent into a weird position, and she's just staring at him like
like that catatonic possessed thing.
Yeah, that scared me too. I didn't care for that. But those are the only two scary parts of the entire movie, and I was looking to get scared.
Yeah, you got to watch it's not Exorcism, it's The Autopsy of Jane Doe on Netflix.
Autopsy of Jane Doe. I'm writing it down now.
It's a good one. I enjoyed it. Have you guys watched? It's on Netflix. It's this like, I don't even know if you probably wouldn't say horror, maybe thriller, called The Platform.
Woody's seen it. He liked it.
The one. So basically, they're in this underground channel of a prison, vertical channel. this big column basically, and there's a big square hole in every single level, like 2 prisoners stacked on top of each other. And it's basically, I won't spoil it, but food comes down from the top, like a beautiful, like what you'd see at a king's mansion, you know, like a feast where it's like chicken legs and turkey and pies and everything you could want. And it goes down to level 1, and the 2 people on there munch. And then after a couple minutes, it goes down to level 2. And so by the time you get to like the final bottom level, people are eating each other, all the food's gone and stuff. And then every like 2 weeks, they'll randomly assign you a different one. And so like one time it'll be like, oh my God, like we have to eat and try and survive. And then they'll be at level 200 where there's like skeletons of other people who didn't survive in there. And it's basically them trying to figure out how to escape and how to manipulate it and how to be
Sounds like The Cube. Is it in Spanish?
No.
Is it good?
It was one of those movies where the movie itself wasn't as good, but the concept behind it was so novel and entertaining. I was like, I'm on board for it. The same way that Hypercube and the Cube series is fucking awful. It's awful. Terrible, but I love those movies because it's unique. The way that they die is so entertaining. There's a new thing in every little cube. It doesn't make sense, and it doesn't have to make sense. It doesn't bother me.
I watched the first Cube movie, and I was like, you never really know who's operating the cube. Yeah. For those who don't know, these 4 or 5 people just wake up inside of a cube, you know, inside this room. And and it's like you're inside of a gigantic 3-dimensional puzzle box. Like you're inside of a giant Rubik's Cube, and you got to work your way out from the inside. And since you're in a cube, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 sides to every room. Each of those has a little hatch in it. One hatch might instantly get killed if you go through it, like some gruesome way, acid or like wires that wrap you up, like piano wire or something like that.
I think that's how it starts, isn't it? Some guy in there, and then just Hellraiser style, all these wires start shooting out and spinning, and he just has that, and then he just becomes mincemeat.
Becomes mincemeat. And but you don't know who's operating this cube or why or what the connection between all of the survivors is. And so I was like, well, I got to know more. Cube 2, let's go. I watched them all. There's like 3, maybe 4.
There's more.
You never figure out anything.
They don't tell you who operates the cube.
It's disappointing.
You get very little information.
You get is like one cube survivor in one movie they've blended together makes it like out of the cube bath where it's like, oh, they were kind of underwater the whole time, or there's water under them for some reason and she fell in, and then she's like getting out of this fake beach basically, and there's a bunch of armed people with like hazmat suits and guns, and like that's about all the clues you get is that it's probably some government thing.
They had no idea.
Escape.
What's that?
She escapes and then she finds herself in the hands of more bad people.
Yeah. Or the bad, she finds herself in the hands of the bad people who are running it, but there's no information divulged about like, oh, we're doing this to test soldiers for tough. Like, no, there's no.
Yeah. That's just that's the end of the movie.
Yeah.
That's the best end of all the movies.
She's like getting up there after surviving, and they just blow her head off, if I remember correctly.
They have really shitty ends. I watched all 4 of them in like a day and a half. I hate the Cube movies now.
Oh, I love shitty horror movies, man. It's my.
I like shitty horror, but like, I mean, I thought there was going to be like this big payoff at the end where we found out that, you know, what was going on, and you never did.
Well,
no dice.
You're looking for the Saw. You're looking for the Saw.
Sure.
That's what that is.
Yeah. But I want him to end at the end. I don't want him to just dun 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 dun. He didn't like bring him back over and over. I'm a little upset with this. I don't watch the Saw movies anymore. They're like Saw 12 or something.
No. The first one's great. But the rest of them are meh. Whatever.
The first one, it's such a good movie. Like really sucks you in. They don't even rely. I think the Saw franchise now has such an reputation. It's like, oh, it's just blood and gore, and it's like, yeah, but go back and watch the first one. Really, not as much blood and gore as you would think.
Very little.
If you watch the last few, and it's like a nice little mystery, good thriller, great movie. Now, I think that the guy who plays Jigsaw dies in like the third one.
I think you're right.
And they're on Saw like 8 or so, and I haven't seen all of them, but I remember jumping to like Saw 6 or 7 years ago, and it like starts with a montage of like, even though I died fucking 15 years ago, I want to play another game. And it's like, how much time did you have to plan this? Like, you have so many games to play, and then that one bitch who survived, and now she runs the game, but she sucks at it. Yeah, that went.
They just upload. They just like upload. It feels like a YouTube video. Those movies. They just make a new one every Halloween, and it makes another $20 million, and rinse and repeat.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's a business. That's all they're doing. They're milking you.
Oh, I've never seen his movies, so I don't
really
actually know
good.
what they're about.
They're really good.
Yeah,
They're about
you've
to-
said they're all right, but you've also said that they're not actually scary. So I'm not going to watch a horror movie it's not really scary.
What is scary though? What horror movie scares you, or like?
So I don't necessarily like my favorite horror movie is The Thing, the John Carpenter movie.
Yeah.
That's definitely my number one, probably by a good bit. It's so well done.
Is it
the pacing is good. It's older. It's in the I think it's the late 70s, maybe early
70s or
80s.
80s.
Something like that. And it's very good at being unnerving. Like it has like the gore and all that. That's not scary, especially coming from, someone now who's seen a lot more gruesome gore in films that looks more realistic. But like the unnerving aspect of it, I like a lot, of like not knowing who is the beast, who is the impersonator, who isn't.
Yeah.
That's what's scary
great.
now to me as an adult, right? As a kid, it was about some jump scare of someone coming out of the woods or, behind that door.
Mm-hmm.
As an adult, it's not scary unless I'm thinking about it the next time I'm in the dark walking through tall grass.
Yeah. Or like, what's that one? Is it, Kyle, which one's Conjuring and which one's Sinister?
So the Conjuring is the one with the couple who like do paranormal stuff, the guy, the man and the woman, and they go to his name, it's the guy from Band of Brothers. They go to his house to deal with some demons and spooks that they got going on there. And I think Sinister is the one where you've got the Bagul, which is the child stealing demon who tricks the kids into, or convinces the children to murder their own families and then records it. And Ethan Hawke finds all those recordings of it upstairs.
I think you're correct. You talking about both of them reminded me. I like both of them. Like they're both very good, but The Conjuring is genuinely creepy.
The first one is excellent.
The first Conjuring is great, and scary movies are hard to do right because it's so easy to fuck up or to overplay your hand and make it appear silly instead of
I said a long time ago that the Babadook really, really bothered me, and I think some people watched it and said
it didn't get me. That one didn't.
Yeah, but like when I was watching it, I had to turn it off because it was so upsetting. Like there was a part where the Babadook was like the lady's in bed and it's nighttime and her bedroom door just opens creakily and it like crawls in on the ceiling and it's like a spider almost crawling around on the ceiling and she's hiding under the covers from it. And when she peeks, it's crawled right on above her bed, but it's doing this backwards neck thing looking at her and it just pounces on her face. And I was like, all right, that's it.
Yeah.
We're done for the night. We're not going to watch the rest of this.
I haven't watched a good spook in forever. Are you a scary movie guy, Scott?
I like them, but it's kind of the same thing. It's like I think it's more cerebral for me. Like I like interesting concepts. Like Children of the Corn was probably like one of the like I was kind of like, yeah. The first time I saw that, I was younger, but it was like a really good movie. A Nightmare on Elm Street scared the hell out of me when I was a kid too.
My wife is downstairs watching that with my son right now.
Nightmare on Elm Street.
Yeah, from 1984.
Damn.
Yeah, that's a good one.
I don't remember being too scared. I saw it too old, I think.
Did you see? I think it's the second one. It's the gay one. It's the one with all the gay undertones and like the gym teachers like clearly gay and they're at the leather bar.
There's a gay one.
Yeah.
Oh my god! It's either the second or third one. I can't remember which, but I've watched all the interviews and stuff, and like it's funny to see some of the actors are like, yeah, it was clearly very gay, it was gay, and then another guy's like, I had no idea that we were making a gay film, but it has become in the gay community just a cornerstone of what it feels like, the teen angst and the coming out, and it's very, very gay. It's about being gay and dealing with it and everything around it. While in the middle, you've got Freddy Krueger, murdering people. Krueger's even a little sexy with the boy in this one. And I think that they talked about him maybe like licking him or something, but they thought it was too far. There was lots of weird stuff in that movie. It's bizarre. It's not a good movie.
That one.
Skip that one.
All the horrors I see now are just bad. Like I haven't seen a good horror movie in fucking forever.
I feel like HD is a bad way to do horror movies too. I feel like if you see things too clearly, if everything's too crystal, it's kind of there's no mystery or anything like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. There's something to be said about when we were watching like The Thing, for example, on a fuzzy tube TV that might even been small, and it's like, man, what is that? Well, I can't really see it. It's in the dark. It's now you can see. I don't know. There's something too. Now I'm on the a gigantic 4K TV, and it's everything's crystal clear. If you show too much of the monster, or if your CGI is a little wonky in some way, I'm not afraid of CGI monsters almost ever.
Yeah,
I'm not really sure. The alien abduction thing has always been really scary to me because I kind of believe it just a little, like enough that I'm afraid of it. And I remember that thing Woody said about being in the situation and then being afraid of it. I would, when I was a kid, I would jog to the end of the driveway and back, and it's dark down there. Like we're in the country, and when you get to the end, you're in the woods. And I would always imagine that there were aliens in the woods trying to get me and run as fast as I could back home. And I remember thinking, like, this is as fast as I ever am. This is my fastest when I'm running from the aliens in the woods. And I know it was true. Like, if you had somebody out there with a stopwatch, 100% I'm faster.
Yeah, you were going D1 if they would have had the timer then.
If they had gotten like a scary alien on the sidelines, I could have been like a water boy era, like style talent, where they just got to get the gray alien face out on the sidelines and freak me out. That could have been it.
It's really just most movies now. I'm not like, and I think maybe it's the nature of like streaming services and their business model when it comes to a lot of the movies they make, which is like shotgun. Like, all right, make a lot of them, and if we make enough, a couple of these are going to be unexpected hits.
Have you seen what would be good a little more? Like you could tell by, well, the ads, but like big time movies, the ads would just hit different. It's like, oh, this Forrest Gump is going to be a major event movie. Saving Private Ryan is going to be dope. Now, good movies and bad movies go straight to streaming, and it's difficult to tell what's good and what's bad.
You don't realize what's a social, I guess, phenomenon until it's like, oh, it's trending on Twitter. I guess a lot of people are watching this. Like there's no way to know because so many people have ads blocked for everything. You don't even have the run up.
Yes.
Have you seen Midsummer? It's by Ari Aster, the same one who did Hereditary. It's where the couple goes to this like weird Norwegian festival out in the country.
I haven't watched it. I should though, because I liked Hereditary. I felt so bad for that funny faced girl.
I love when she dies. It's the best part of the movie. But Midsummer is like weird. It's very upsetting, and it's very like it's creepy. It's because you don't, and it's very bright. Instead of lots of darkness, and for a horror movie, it's bright daylight. I think in every scary scene, like every scary scene is bright daylight.
Who's in
I can't remember what. No one that I knew.
Okay.
But like the girl's face, when you see the girl's face, they memified the face she makes toward the
the crying at the end. I've seen that. Is that it?
There's maybe
she's like smiling and crying or something.
Yes, that's it. Yeah. And there's a part at the beginning. I can't remember what they call it. The Gutenschlepp or something. It's the practice of when the old people would jump off of a cliff to kill themselves in like Viking society because they were useless now, and so you would just they have that out of nowhere at the beginning, and the tourists are just like, what the fuck did we just watch? What the fuck did we just watch? And there's like people smashed on the rocks, like, this is the natural way of things, or however they sound. Not like that exactly. More of a authentic accent.
Why are you so offended? We are just tossing the refuse out the way we do every midsummer. Oh, you said the movie title. Like, is that how?
No,
it goes?
that one's good. That one's weird. I can't. I watched the Terrifier recently. Terrifier 2, actually.
That stunk. I did not like Terrifier.
That's not my style. It's so gory, like over the top gory, and not comical goriness. Like it's not like, whoa, look at all that blood spraying like Akira movies. You know,
It's the Terrifier. That's a clown one, right?
Yes, he
Yeah.
tortures people to death, and it's just like I don't want to watch you torture people slowly to death.
It's terrible. Like that's
it's-
what I don't want in a horror movie. Is I don't want gore, torture. Like I am not scared by that. I'm just put off by it. Like it's to the point where it's like,
What about
I
like
don't
Home
enjoy
and
this?
Yeah, I'll tell you one that's really uncomfortable, and like it's called Funny People, and it's a home invasion movie where they like hold them hostage and sort of torture and like torment a couple.
Oh, that's not a
And-
comedy.
No,
Is it
Oh.
funny people or funny games?
you actually might be right because I think Funny People is the Adam Sandler movie.
Oh, I was like, dude, Adam Sandler's getting
Is
real.
it funny?
Like
I think you're right. I think it's going to be Funny Games.
Funny
Yeah.
Games. Okay.
Yeah,
It's
because
funny
there
games,
was like a
100%.
Norwegian version or something, and then there was like an American version.
Yes. I've seen some like clips from the Norwegian version or whatever it is, the older one, but I've seen the new one, and it's upsetting.
Hmm.
Like the
It's
violence.
upsetting. Just how drawn out it is and how it's more mental than physical. It's like letting someone know you're going to do something awful to them and then like spending 20 minutes talking about it and then you know what, maybe I'll wait till later.
I
It's
really
the type of
dislike-
stuff where if you were gonna murder someone you hated, you probably wouldn't even do it that way to them because you'd be like, nah, I hate this guy, but I just want to get it over with. But
And they're just strangers, I
Yeah.
think, if I remember it correctly. Like they have no reason to do these things other than they want to.
Ew, that's sinister.
Yeah. That I remember watching that and that one making me feel like kind of nauseous, kind of sick to my stomach. Like, kind of wish I hadn't watched this. Of course, I was a kid.
If it's too over the top gore and cruel, it can be off-putting and like, oh, this is it's cruelty and gore for the sake of it, without it like playing into the character's motivations.
This one
And
isn't
it's
really
like, oh,
gory.
you're
It's
trying to
just-
shock me right now.
Yeah, this one's more mental than like gore. It's more the threat of what they're going to do. Although they do awful things. I mean, the ending itself is. I don't want to spoil it. You should watch it. It's a dark horror movie.
I'll try it out. What was the title of that one?
Funny Games.
Funny Games.
Yeah.
I'll give it.
I'm glad he corrected me and somebody didn't rent Funny People and be like, this isn't scary at all.
This
Man,
scared
this
Kyle?
sucks.
What a pussy.
There's a lot of Steve Carell singing. Once it gets scary,
You know, Sandler's actually pretty good.
Yeah, I wish there were more movies and shows I actually enjoyed watching now. Like,
Survivor.
keep
You guys are
finding
both missing it.
I don't like reality TV really.
This
Like
is better than other reality TV.
not a big fan of it. It's just it doesn't pull me in.
I fucking can't sell a TV show to Kyle. I'm the worst salesman ever.
Well, it's I've seen it. I've
No, you
Not
haven't.
the
You saw
newest
season
season.
5.
I mean,
It's a different
you
show
gotta
now.
you gotta watch reality TV with a woman though, because like it kind of it's almost like an out. Like if you were sitting down watching Survivor on your own, you might feel a little weird.
Yeah.
But when you got the girl there, you're like, oh no, she's watching this, and I'm watching her watch this. And I'm telling her how dumb that person on the TV is.
Yeah.
It's not that
She's
I like this,
watching
they're just dumb.
she's watching Cake Boss.
Beauty
I'm
of
just here.
Survivor.
Yeah.
There's like, I don't know, 30 people at the start. Like 27 of them are better at this game than I am. And I'm just like watching them make moves, working their strategies. I'm like, fuck, that's actually pretty clever. They're not dummies.
The only one I like, and it's only of clips of it, is like a Gordon Ramsay cooking show. It's fun watching him yell at people briefly, but other than that, not really. And even then, I can't remember the last time I watched a Gordon Ramsay show.
That's what I watch. I watch all of the Gordon Ramsay shows, no matter how shitty they are. I watch him cook with children. I watch him cook with adults. I watch him yell at restaurants and rebuild hotels. I watch all that shit. The man's a billionaire, and he comes out with a new Fox TV show every fucking year. I don't know. I watch them all.
Like I'll just start watching a new show or a movie or something, and always I'm like, is this as good? Are you enjoying this as much as you would just enjoy kind of having old Simpsons, old King of the Hill, that on in the background? And it's like, no, like I don't. Like I'd rather watch season 4 Simpsons again than this, uninteresting nonsense.
Speaking of skinny, I watched this really fucking dumb movie on Amazon last night. It's called Thinner, like thinner, fatter, like thinner, and it's based on a Stephen King book. And the fucking the plot of it is this big fat fucking attorney. I'd never read the book, so I don't know how close they got to it. But this big fat fucking attorney, who from the very first scene is so obviously in a fat suit, is walking around like being kind of like shitty to people and being skeevy in the courtroom. And he's just sitting at like a dinner with his fancy fucking friends, and he's like, and like they wheel like the dessert cart around, and even like his wife and people are like, no, and he's doing that fat guy like, oh, just one thing like on his belly.
I just need one more.
And they drag him out of there. They get in the car, and then his wife starts blowing him on the way back. Long story short, he doesn't notice a gypsy woman walking out in front of him. He barrels into this gypsy woman, kills her. Classic. And like then he and the judge and like some other fucking dude rig it all so that like he gets off scot-free. So it's like, she walked out into traffic. You should have known. And when really he was getting his dick sucked, and that's why he didn't see her.
The dangers of roadhead. Exactly.
It is not safe. I never feel like I'm driving safely when I get my dick sucked in the car.
I don't think any of it.
And then a gypsy woman comes out, a gypsy man comes out and like touches his face and goes like thinner, and then leaves. And this whole time his wife's been bitching and moaning at him to lose weight. And then he gets home and he still is eating shit. And she's like tracking it on her little like old chart. And he's like down to 283. She's like, You've lost 40 pounds in 2 weeks? And he's like, yeah, it's going great. And then like he keeps losing weight precipitously. And so there are scenes of him just like sitting like just with whole pies like and like he finally snaps and he's like, I'm eating 12,000 calories a day and I'm losing 3 pounds a day. I don't know what's gonna happen. And it gets to the point like they take away a fat suit like every 20 minutes of the film. But the problem is like by the end of it, where he gets to his normal self, he's not skinny enough. So what do? They add like other makeup to make him look gaunt as shit. And like at a couple of occasions, he's like talking to the fucking gypsy, trying to get him to like remove the curse. And he's like, it's those like terrible like porn angles or something where he's like, yeah, you need to take it away. Look at me. And then he like reaches down to lift his shirt up, and then he does, and it's just from the neck down, and it's like emaciated, the smallest little man. And then he puts it back down, and he's a normal man again with his fucking face. And this movie, my God, I can't recommend a better waste of time than this fucking film. This was so dumb. Again? Thinner.
I'm shocked that neither of you have seen Thinner before. It's a classic.
No, it's
real
awful.
bad.
Don't but it can be a classic if it's fucking horrible.
Didn't it come out of left field?
5.7. Like, that can't be that bad.
It's not that bad. Didn't it come out of left field though? When like the gangster comes out of nowhere in the third act and is like, "Yeah, I'll help you get."
Yeah. Like the attorney had gotten like one fucking Dago off. Like this greasy Italian guy who like just shows up when he's too thin to fight for himself. And he's like, yeah, I'll take care of him. So he goes down to their fucking hovel, shitty gypsy area, and he just starts like firing on them and killing them and poisoning their dogs.
It's Joe Mantegna. Like
I'm watching the trailer, and it does in fact look as terrible as you. And they just showed the scene. They just showed the fucking scene of him emaciated with the thing up. And he doesn't even like. It's just like he just strokes his face. And he's like thinner, and they just invert the colors. It looks so bad.
Yeah, he like does this weird. Like I would never let a man get close enough to touch me. That would be like, whoa, what the fuck?
Wait, there's like, AKs and cars exploding. What's going on?
That's when the fucking guinea goes down there and starts shooting up the gypsies.
The guinea. Yeah, a couple whops go down.
I can't believe that it's a thing. This makes no sense. Guinea. I can't believe this existed.
Yeah, man. Yeah. Look, Stephen King is the most prolific movie writer of all time. Like more movies have been based on his books than anything ever.
Yeah.
Like there are movies that you don't even know are Stephen King. The Green Mile is Stephen King.
But I knew that one.
Like dozens and dozens of movies. Like I would need to. I'll Google it right now.
Most people know The Shining is.
Yeah, of course. Steven.
What else did he do?
Movies.
Oh, that the one on Netflix, Gerald's Game that
All right,
came
here
out.
we go. Pet Cemetery, It, The Shining, The Shawshank Redemption, The Green Mile, The Mist, Misery, The Dark Tower, Stand By Me, It, 1922, Gerald's Game, 1408, Carrie, Cujo, Christine, Children of the Corn, Thinner, The Dead Zone, Maximum Overdrive, Salem's Lot, Creepshow, Cell, Secret Window. It keeps going. Like there's
I know a
pages
lot
and
of those,
pages.
but there are some ones that I have
There's
no
four
idea.
more pages.
Yeah, there's some that I don't know. My favorite one that I've seen is Shawshank Redemption, probably number one, but Misery, real fucking good. Kathy
Really?
Bates is fantastic in that. Yeah.
Yes, she is.
Yeah, she's a
Yeah,
really
they
good
both are.
actress. Even I didn't care for the what's that wine movie? Sideways. That Sideways.
Paul
I think that's
Giamatti
what it calls.
movie?
With
You
Paul
didn't like
Giamatti. No. I was saying I didn't like the scene when Paul Giamatti gets in the hot tub and then naked Kathy Bates gets in the hot tub because she looks like melting ice cream.
Is that the same movie? You might be conflating that.
Maybe I am.
I think it's a different movie. Sideways is the one where they go to wine country and Paul Giamatti is with his buddy who just got out of a relationship and they meet up with that Margaret Chow chick or something like that. I don't know. The Asian actress number 2, the one with the flat face from Grey's Anatomy. They all have that. And he hooks up with her and they're in wine country or whatever. And actually, I think both of those chicks were from Grey's Anatomy. In any case, I like Sideways. I think it's very well acted. I'm a big fan. But I think the Kathy Bates getting naked scene was a different movie.
Huh. I mean, I knew he did a lot, but I'm wondering.
Oh, it's from About Schmidt. Yeah.
Yep.
About Schmidt, yeah. I'm wondering how much you get like royalty wise back from like a movie like Thinner, right? Because it is based on your stuff. So I mean, I know it's negotiable, but I'm just wondering, like, is Stephen King like, thank God we made Thinner because like I got to buy a new car off of it. Like, what's
dude? He's so fucking loaded. He's probably like worth almost $1 billion. Let me see.
He's gotten different amounts for the screenplays. I know there was a big to do about the screenplay.
400 million.
Yeah, there was a big deal with the screenplay for The Shining. Because I want to say he had sold it to one person, and then that person sold it to the people who made The Shining, and they went in a completely different direction in a lot of ways. And one of the ways that, oh god damn it, who's the fucking director of The Shining? I can't believe I'm spacing on it.
Stanley Kubrick.
Yeah, Stanley Kubrick. Like right away in the beginning, like he has the family pass by that wrecked Volkswagen Beetle, and the people are dead in it. And he's saying, right, and in the book, the family's driving that Volkswagen Beetle to the resort. So it's his way of being like, in the first 5 minutes, being like, yeah, we're not doing that story. Yeah, we're doing our own thing here.
I mean, they did a good job with it.
Of course.
That movie is fantastic.
Yeah, it's definitely top 5 of my favorite movies of all time, The Shining, with fucking Jack Nicholson. It's incredible.
I mean, that is.
We were doing that scene earlier. That's the scene we were like,
yeah, it's iconic.
Get away! He's swinging that bat.
I read a weird arbitrary thing that from like there's a subreddit that's like movie details that has like really, really cool things that they actually had to replace the door that they originally had, which was a door that was weaker, with a real door because Jack was a firefighter. So when he was swinging the axe to break the door down, it was just like butter to him. So they had to just give him a real fucking door and be like, all right, well, have at it, buddy.
Did you see like how before that it was like he was hyping himself up as he's going like, as he goes, here's Johnny.
Like imagine just being like, all right, you ready? Yeah, I'm ready to go.
He's like jumping up and down like a little leprechaun, stomping and moving.
He's like moving the axe, and the people are like, "Geez, that's a real axe, Jack. Come on!" They're like trying to get out of his way as he like flails around with his fucking axe and pumps himself up. Like, yeah, it's fucking gold. I love that shit. Little kid, red rum, and then the black caretaker. Oh, I love when you do your impression of him.
What do I say? Oh, he's
the
like
black caretaker.
No, what do I say?
You like soda, Jack? Or like whatever the fuck it is.
You like soda,
pop?
Doc?
Oh,
Call
Doc,
him Doc.
that's what it is. You like soda, Doc? Yeah.
For this,
I'm gonna come back
film,
and get killed by your dad. It always sounds like I'm whispering.
I'm gonna spend the whole movie getting here, only to get chopped down like an oak tree.
Yeah.
just the whole movie, he's on his way, like taking it's like planes, trains, and automobiles. The story of the black caretaker. Like he's literally in a snowmobile at one point, a snowcat. And he gets there and he's like, what seems to be all the Nicholson
he's just like, it's just another day at work, 4 days to get here, and then I die.
Oh shit.
You got the shine.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's great. I've watched so
I
many
love
film
it.
theories about that, about whether Danny had been molested by Jack Nicholson's character. That's
fuck?
yeah. I've watched hours of bullshit, like film theories, fan theories. I watched that documentary about The Shining, like all that shit. I love it.
Yeah.
Wow.
All work and no hole makes me a horny boy.
Adrian should have been giving Jack some pussy, and maybe he wouldn't have snapped.
Well, she certainly wasn't giving him blowjobs with those Tyrannosaurus Rex teeth. Jesus Christ.
They're awful.
He does
They're
have some
so bad.
chompers.
Man, she bothered me more than Jack, even when
You
he
were
was
like-
when he was trying to murder her. Like, she was so fucking
Yeah.
annoying.
Go away. I love that scene.
Go
She's on those
away.
steps. Yeah, she does have some fucking chompers on him. Like going back to this, the theories that he's like perhaps homosexual as well as a pedophile, and that he done something to his son. Is when Jack Nicholson first gets there, when he's like applying for the job, and he's sitting in the lobby, and the facility's kind of busy. There's like people milling around. They're all leaving because it's the season's over.
Mhm.
He's got a Playboy. He's got a Playgirl magazine there that he's kind of rifling through. There's a lot of Kubrick.
He likes the articles. There's really good writing in there.
Kubrick would sneak a little stuff like that into his movies. It's bizarre.
I wonder if it was just like a game. Like, how gay can I make my characters without anybody noticing? Like, can I just like really shoehorn some gayness in there?
What was
if
that?
it-
What was his line in that scene where he's sitting at the bar, with the fake fucking bartender
Yeah.
who comes up? Like, what does he say to him? It's like, hair of the something something,
Hair of the dog that bit you. Something
or
like that.
what do he say? Lloyd. Like, whatever. I don't remember any of that movie. I need to watch it again.
It always like takes me by surprise when Lloyd takes him in Lloyd and Nicholson in the bathroom, and he's like, "Do you know the bartender's British? Do you know that your son is bringing in a third party? What? A third party? That's right. He's bringing in a that's right, a caretaker. I didn't know anything about that." It's just like, I was like, woo! That hard R just slapped me in the face. I was not prepared for that. They're just
I grew up watching a lot of the horror movies from like the 80s and 90s that are almost like, looking back, I didn't really think of it at the time, probably because I was a kid, so they were scared of me, but they're almost like comedy horror, right? Like
Yeah.
Freddy Krueger is like a comedy horror guy. If you've seen like Nightmare on
It's a
Elm
little
Street and
tongue
stuff.
in cheek. He's
Yeah.
made his jokes and stuff.
Or Child's Play, Chucky is like it's like
Mhm.
they always have like a joke
Yeah.
before he kills somebody or some shit. you know?
Sure.
because like right in the heart of that, you had that whole thing with Congress and the MPAA where they were dragging musicians and actors before Congress to testify about gore and stuff. And the MPAA cracked down so hard they would make like a Jason movie or whatever. They would be like, okay, let's edit this down so that we can get an R, and it'd come back X, like not even NC-17. Like they would have to cut so much out. They were pretty tame. I watch a lot of those 80s horror movies, like Freddy. The first Nightmare on Elm Street's a really good movie. The second movie is just a big gay allegory and has very little to do with actual like Freddy Krueger and his mythos. You got to go like 2 more movies before you get to another good Freddy Krueger movie.
Yeah, most of Freddy Krueger was. I didn't like those.
I
didn't
those
like
at
the
all.
Halloweens either. I didn't think those were scary.
Halloween 1 is good, and Halloween 2 is like self-contained. It like actually is a direct sequel, so I like that. After that, I stopped watching.
Fair enough.
I like.
What is a horror movie you like? Like that you're like creme de la creme. That's a good horror. It spooks me. It frightens me. Good plot. Something like Sinister, or what's it called? Insidious or Sinister. What was that other one? The Conjuring.
The Conjuring is one of my favorite modern ones. What's his name? John. It's not John Woo, is it? I think that might be the director. It's really good. I liked it a lot. It relies on some jump scares, and I think it gets a bad rap for that because I think it earns those jump scares with the atmosphere. And but more recently, like we were talking about Hereditary. And the way that Hereditary and Midsommar, and films like The Witch, have this really creeping sort of atmospheric thing that this, from the very beginning, they're sort of putting you in this place where
joy and happiness don't exist in this world that you're in. So we're starting way down here, and just wait, we're going further. Like there is no happy sunshine. Teenagers in a high school enjoying their class, and there's no calm before the storm. We're starting out in a shitty place, and wait, it gets worse.
Yeah, I mean, those are great movies. I like The Conjuring too. I liked both of the Conjuring movies. Maybe there's more, I don't know. But then those other ones that were like synonyms that both came out like around 2010, Insidious and Sinister.
Yeah,
those were pretty fucking good too. I liked those.
So I get them a little mixed up. The one with Ethan Hawke, it's the one where you have the Bagul demon who makes children kill their own families, and he records it. So he like.
There's like the tree with the hanging people that you find in the film. Yeah.
Now, the first half of that film, before you realize there is a Bagul demon
Sinister.
that looks silly, is excellent. It's masterful. Like, and Ethan Hawke's a good enough actor that he can carry the whole thing on his shoulders. But once you see that there's a Bagul demon and like you see it, it's kind of downhill from there. But it was a scary movie to me at the time. I remember when I watched it's not The Ring. What is the Japanese horror movie that has Sarah Michelle Gellar in it, and it's got the little cat boy that's going whatever. Grudge. That fucked me up when I was 18.
The Grudge got you?
I remember
Grudge. I thought it was stupid.
It's something about the way the little girl like moved all disjointedly, like really threw me off. But The Exorcist, when I watched it for the first time. It scared me more than I think it scares most people, especially like today, like 20 years after I was a kid, because I was religious at that age. Like I wasn't altar boy or anything. I didn't think too seriously about it, but I believed in God. And so I was like, I mean, the devil exists. I mean, demons exist. Like I know they do. And here there's a really good example of like what that can. I don't know that was a scary movie.
That was where like they like blacked out with makeup, like the eyes and the like white face of like that little Asian boy who like looked dead. Yeah, and he was like crawling on the ceiling. Yeah, that was all right. I liked The Ring a lot more. That came out when I was like in middle school, and I remember like it being the movie of middle school where everyone was like, "Oh, it's the scariest movie of all time." Like, of course, we had no perspective on scary movies, but it was the scariest to us. But I haven't seen The Ring in fucking 15, 16 years, but I remember liking it at the time when I saw it. I thought it was really scary.
Yeah, different things scare me. Like I've never been afraid of the slashers, because it's like, I grew up on a farm. Like if somebody tries to come in our house with a knife, it's like, what were you thinking, boy? It's just not going to end well. So the idea,
free knife.
It's literally what you're thinking as a country boy, like on a farm. It's like, so somebody's going to walk up the driveway, past the dogs, break through our big ass door. And like, what we're not going to be loaded and ready? Like, what is it? Like you're just not afraid of the guy with a knife.
I don't know, Destiny. Are you a horror movie guy? What do you enjoy?
I grew up watching every fucking horror movie, all of the classics from the 80s, like all the Hellraisers, the Child's Plays, the Jasons, like every fucking classic horror movie. I watched a lot of the gore porn ones because they're interesting, I guess. But I think if you've I don't know if you guys ever did the fucking weird shit where you watched all the actual like crazy shit from like Ogrish and like the really old gore sites and stuff.
Yeah, I wish I hadn't.
I watched one about a year ago where this guy's kidnapped these two Japanese people, a man and a woman. Not only they know each other, and he's got them on these stretchers facing each other.
Oh, you're talking about the movie, the one that ends with him cutting her head off, and then as she's flying through the air, she bites him to kill him as her head is flying off.
Well, that's cool if that happened. I didn't make it to the end because I got to a part there's a part right at the beginning.
You got to we'll go ahead.
Like he finger bangs her until she squirts on his face, and then he jerks the guy off then until he comes on her. And I was like, oh no. And I fast forwarded a little, and he's about to cut her nipple off with some scissors. And I was like, what am I watching?
And that movie gets
a horror movie.
That movie gets so much worse. There's a part where he's like driving nails through the guy's dick with a hammer to like cut it off, and it's just like the most insanely ridiculous fucking movie in the world. That's one of the like just the crazy.
What is this movie called?
I don't even know what it's called. It's weird as fuck.
Damn, I want to watch it.
Like I get on like Amazon has so many little subgenres and channels that I like go through these little deep dives. Like that's how I found that Spanish language film where the girl is having sex with a tentacle alien.
Jesus.
That's a horror movie. Like, it kills and rapes like a couple people, the tentacle alien does, but she's like down with it. And it's like, it looks like one of those wild tentacle animation porns that I'm sure none of you have ever seen. So I'll describe them thoroughly. There's tentacles supporting the woman, and there's tentacles in every orifice, and she's really having a good time. And that's what this movie is. It was called like Untamed, I think, or something like that. Yeah.
I think my two favorite of all the things I've seen, and people will laugh at me for these, my two favorite horror movies are, one was, and I swear by this movie, and fuck everybody doesn't like it, okay? The very first Paranormal Activity.
Oh yeah, it's incredibly scary.
It's a good movie.
It was a creepy, when the guy comes in, when the priest, because everything seems kind of comical, you don't really know what's going on. When the priest comes into that house the second time and he's like, I have to leave, like I'm freaking out or whatever. Like, that movie just sets up the atmosphere. So, and they made that movie for like $32,000.
The scariest part of that movie to me is when he goes up into the attic and suddenly our two, because being together like is such a, you feel safe. Like
of
even,
course.
Yeah.
Like I've had that where I'm watching a scary movie, but I've got my girlfriend with me. Now she's not going to protect me from fuck all. If anything, she'll get in the way while I'm fighting it. But that, but her being there is like, all right, we're together.
Yeah.
So like when you have that with that couple in Paranormal Activity, when they're together, they're a team. If I see something, then you see it. There will be no paranoia where like, did she really see it? Like we're together. But he leaves her to go into the attic to check on the noise, and it's and you don't really get to go. He can't really tell what's up there, and it's like if it takes him, she can't help, and if it takes her, he can't help. They're so close to being locked away from each other, and him being in that act and her down here, and neither one of those is such. That was the scariest moment of that to me.
And there are so many like creepy moments.
He finds a photograph up there that can't exist. That's what happens. And then I think right after that, maybe there's a big jump where something drags her away, like something like that.
Why can't the photograph exist?
Because it burned up in her house fire when she was a child.
Yeah.
It burned in that house to nothing, and now it exists up there as like this charred remnant. And it was
is the first movie the one where at one point it's either the husband or wife that walks into the backyard and is like just sitting there hanging out there until the other one comes out.
Like
I
really
remember
weird.
I remember that part scaring me a lot. I think it was the husband that was out there and he was just like dead-eyed staring at nothing until the wife comes up, or maybe the wife
is sitting on a bench. Oh, there was the one too where the wife is over the husband just staring at him while
that's
fucking weird. Yeah, that's one of my favorites. Another one of my top two favorites is super great, borderline campy, good special effects. There's a movie called Drag Me to Hell.
Yeah,
I've seen that. I've seen Drag Me to Hell. I
really solid, super good movie. Really funny ending. Everything about when she's fighting the woman in the fucking grave and everything. That movie is really well done and really funny. Those are like my two, I think, like my favorite, like newerish, like horror movies. I think do things like really well. I enjoy those two a lot.
I almost put like Drag Me to Hell in the same category. Not the same category.
It's like comedy horror.
What is it called? Something versus the Evil Dead. Or
Ash
versus Evil Dead, or Chuck and someone fight the zombies, whatever.
It's like Dale and Ted versus Evil or something like that.
Yeah, Tucker and Dale versus Evil.
Yeah, that's it.
That's what it's called. Like, and
that's
actually a really good movie. I really like it because it's like it's making fun of it the whole time. Like they're in the boat outside, like on the river, and then all the kids are swimming. You know, and they're like, I don't want to upset them. I don't want them to think we're spying on them or nothing. And then the kids like start dying, and they're like, if we get out and help, they're gonna know we were looking at them, and they were like.
It's this thing where like it's very meta. It's the same way Cabin in the Woods was like meta like they're literally going through the tropes and all the multiple horror enemies like this movie is like that. They can't help that they seem like the bad guys from horror movies. They just seem like hillbilly rednecks, but really they're just like two good old boys who bought a cabin together and they want to fix her up.
It's a tremendous movie. Like Tucker and Dale versus Evil is very funny. I love horror. Like I want a movie that's going to scare the shit out of me. Like that's going to really fucking scare me. And I feel like once you've watched enough horror movies, that just doesn't happen anymore.
Yeah, it's hard.
It's like
I don't know if it's
tolerance.
Yeah, I don't know if it's an unpopular take because it's an M. Shemai or whatever the fuck. I remember thinking The First Signs was a really freaky movie.
I love it.
Because that was one popular one. I wasn't.
I think you have to get like halfway into the movie before you finally see the fucking alien dude and the shitty.
Further.
I love that movie.
Yeah, I think movies that do that atmosphere really well, I think are Yeah, I give
feel
all
like
the
Signs was one of his great movies, and like everything tied together at the end. I guess it's pretty
Yeah, it was
simple,
cute.
right? In reverse.
At
the time, I really loved it.
I think some people don't like it because it's too formulaic, and it's like, look, it's beautiful that way. I like it. It can be simple, but Mel Gibson is so likable in that movie, and he carries that thing so well. And the kids are excellent actors. That Kieran McCullen kid and
His
whoever
brother
the
did
little
a great
girl is,
job with the cleft lip. Or
Joaquin Phoenix.
Was that Joaquin Phoenix? Wow.
Yeah.
Joaquin Phoenix.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Holy
Joaquin
shit!
Phoenix.
Yeah,
He's
Joaquin
got the
Phoenix
hair lip.
fucking kills
Yeah.
it, and you know, a little still supporting, and you know, Shyamalan's in there, and he does fine in his little role or whatever. Even the army recruiter down, you know, when Joaquin Phoenix goes to town, he's like describing what the alien invasion would be like. That's a cool little gritty moment. They should have had Arlie Ermy for that part. It would have been perfect.
When they
Arlie
tell
Ermy
him
would've
to
been-
swing, I was inspired.
Swing
They're like,
away.
Yeah, swing away. I
And
was
that,
like,
that
oh.
music, the music goes, and it dong, and he fucking swing. It's great. It's great.
Yeah.
It's a
It was
huge
more
moment.
of a. It was more of a
and
mystery
Mel,
thriller.
because Mel
than a
Gibson
horror.
like runs in and scoops the kid up, and like the alien's attention goes to Joaquin Phoenix. It's a great scene.
Kyle, would you put it in horror or would you put it in like
Yeah.
mystery thriller?
No, it's horror. It's like aliens are coming in the night to
Absolutely.
take your children. They're, you know, it's a global invasion of when it there's
Okay,
that
I need
moment,
to rewatch it. Maybe I'm wrong.
there's that moment where Joaquin Phoenix is just about to go into full foil cap mode, and he's watching Mexican TV footage of an alien like running like through a garden or something.
That's such a freaky fucking video. It's the first time you see anything, and it's paused, and you can't see what's going on in the kitchen, and then the thing just walks by the camera. You're like, ooh, that's fucking weird. Yeah.
Not only do you do that, Joaquin Phoenix is terrified. Joaquin Phoenix has he makes you laugh. He's like, "Vamonos, children, vamonos."
Oh yeah, Bob. Yeah, you're shouting to move.
and you get a little chuckle, and then you see it, and he goes, "Oh!" like that, like really convincingly. He covers his mouth. He recoils in terror, and you do too, because you just saw something move in a non-human, slanky, reptilian-esque kind of camouflage, creepy chameleon way, and it's like they're here already. They're among us. The scouts are here. That's what's in our fucking yard. You know, it's scary when they run around the house yelling and like they meet each other, and then they look up and you hear it's like, oh shit. And I love the whole conversation they have with the sheriff when she shows up, and she's like, you know, I saw these Kenyan high jumpers jump clean over your head, and Mel Gibson's like, well, okay, if we set aside Kenyan super athletes in the backyard last night pulling hijinks, what else are we looking at here? It's no, I dig that one a
You're
lot.
probably right. I haven't seen that since, when did that come out? 2004. Probably saw it last 2005.
It's the problem is that like and this sucks because it might be an age thing. I think there might be some. I don't know if I was watching Signs for the first time today. I don't know if I'd like it, but if I watch it again, I know I'll like it. Just because of how different media is today, I feel like it's probably harder for people that aren't used to enjoying kind of like slower things to enjoy those things. They're just going to feel really boring. I think. I'm not sure.
I think it hits you often enough to keep you interested, because remember, like, you've got scenes like the boy killing the German Shepherd with the skewer, and then you've got like Mel Gibson seeing the alien on the roof but not being sure what that is a scary fucking moment, because you guys know, but maybe Destiny doesn't. My biggest fear is fucking aliens. Those gray aliens with the big fucking eyes. Okay. I don't believe in demons and ghouls and goblins, and I'm not scared.
Just aliens for this genius.
And look, I would love for you guys to read a headline about me strangling a knife wielding assailant to death, because that's what would fucking happen. But
it turned out it was a well-meaning Kenyan trying to jump over.
I'm gonna grab my duo bell and turn it to 10 and go to work. like I'm not worried about that either. But like a fucking extraterrestrial showing up in his like interdimensional light speed craft or whatever, and beaming me up for a little operation is like my biggest fucking fear, because I don't have shit for that. Not that guy. Show me the fire in the sky. Show me
kind of a pussy. You're scared of that guy?
Kyle, that's what you're afraid of, you pussy?
I can punt that. Kyle. Show me the fire in the sky aliens, because those are the scary fuckers.
Oh, is that the guys that do the eye drill thing in that fucking movie or whatever?
First they like throw like a handful of shit in his mouth for like no good reason, and he's like like vomiting up the shit, and then they like, you know, that like fetish thing where they vacuum seal you to a bed with like that.
Yeah, I remember.
They like do that to him inexplicably, and then haphazardly use like the least sci-fi knife you've ever seen to cut a mouth hole in it.
and then they go. I think that's when they throw the shit in his mouth, like, and they're just doing awful things to him, and it's believable-esque as a kid anyway. When I watched this shit, yeah, look at that bitch.
Yeah.
He's scarier in HD.
Yeah, no nose.
Yeah,
I mean that just looks like Groot.
It does look like Groot. I'm gonna be honest.
Yeah, Groot's problem though.
That's Groot's a nice guy.
Cat.
Groot wouldn't tie you to a bed and vacuum seal you.
He might.
All right, to make that go away, I'm gonna have nightmares.
You couldn't stop.
No, that's what I'm scared of because I figure I can handle most of the other things at least
what's
conceivably.
Behind Aliens for you? Like right behind Aliens, what's the next big fear? You said you don't like slashers, but for me, like I'm not scared at all of the demon alien movies. It's more like the insidious person you wouldn't expect that's doing fucked up shit behind the scenes. That's what's more scary.
Body horror is terrifying.
Like American Horror, or not American Horror Story. I'm sorry, American Psycho. Like that's a spookier story in a way because it's about a guy who just fucking kills people for fun, and you don't expect it.
You just got. I mean, come on, you'd expect it if you spent 5 minutes with that fucking guy. That guy was weird.
That is so fucking true that people are like, oh, Patrick Bateman was flying under the radar, and then like he gets interviewed by the cops, and he's like, I dabble in rape, and they're like, all right, on your way then.
Yeah, I think the whole thing is that like I think the interpretation a lot of people have is that he didn't kill anybody in that movie. That he's just
he's just fucking crazy. Yeah,
like none of that happened. A lot of it didn't happen.
I've read that theory. I don't think it makes sense.
Well, it doesn't. It doesn't. Killings that he didn't do because he like wakes up after something or like shit wasn't how it was supposed to be. So at least a few of them didn't happen. Like I think the homeless guy killing, doesn't he like confront all the cops afterwards and then after he like wakes up or something or
and just so we're clear, like if you consider American Psycho 2 to be canon, then it just outright
there's an American Psycho 2.
It has Mila Kunis in it. Don't even acknowledge it as a movie.
You guys are scared of all the wrong things. Like Kyle's scared of aliens. Someone else is scared of American Psycho. I'm scared of like the IRS, YouTube's automated strike system, shit like that is what keeps me up at night.
Have you heard that old R.I.P. Norm Macdonald bit where he's like, everyone's afraid. Everyone's afraid of terrorists. More likely than that is you're going to be attacked and killed by your own heart. Imagine that. You're afraid of terrorists, and then your own heart kills you. I was just laughing my ass off.
Doing that, I know Kyle wants to see that. The paranormal will just like
it draws and
builds for 2 hours. That thing builds.
So you're sick to your stomach.
That's what you want in a good horror movie.
Yeah, I mean, the paranormal activity movies, especially, I don't know, I'm gonna call it the first 2 for sure, maybe the first 3. God damn, they fucked with me.
An hour and a half first of like, why'd the hose move? The hose moved? Like a chair. Was this chair here? How come you guys keep moving the chairs? I'm not moving the chairs. It's like, and you're like, is this happening? You're like, where are? It's good. I like the paranormals. I want to see the recent ones.
I've seen them all up into the one where it's like Paranormal Activity Chicano Adventure or something. Like it's like
that can't be a thing.
It's in LA and they're all Spanish and I watched it, but it was like when they got to the bottom of where the evil was coming from, it was like, really? There's an underground passageway in your neighbor's apartment that leads to some scary shit? Like that seems pretty far-fetched. Like usually these apartments have quick turnover, right? We're going to notice that underground dungeon you have in your apartment.
Maybe it's the second. Isn't there one where it's a little more like you see the monsters and like?
There's one now called like Demon Dimension or something like it's like Paranormal Activity, like something Dimension or something. But I've seen 4 of them, maybe 5.
I think you're ahead of
the
me.
first 2 or 3 are.
3. So you want to watch this trailer?
Not the whole thing, but like the first, because I didn't watch the whole thing when I watched this preview the other night on my Roku. I watched the first, call it 20 seconds.
And that's enough to get
it gives you kind of the idea of what the horror we're facing is in this movie.
We've been watching a lot of garbage. We watched a good bit of Troll 2. It's awful.
Wait, is that the one with Jennifer Aniston? No, that's Leprechaun.
That's Leprechaun.
Troll 2 is fucking really bad. Like,
really bad.
There's no trolls in it for one. And
No,
There's no trolls?
and it's literally
That's
not
fantastic.
even a sequel to Troll 1. Like they made Troll,
Yeah.
it did okay, and then they had this movie, and it was like looking terrible, and they were like, let's just call it Troll 2 and release it, and maybe we'll make a little money just because people get
Capitalize on our small
bamboozled.
success. Yeah.
Yeah,
the movie's about goblins, not trolls.
Yeah.
And so do you know the "Oh my God" meme?
Which
What
one's
is it?
Oh my god!
It's just this kid going, they ate him and now they're gonna eat me. Oh my God! And that's how he
Yeah,
delivers the
I've seen
line.
that.
Yeah, that's from that movie.
A lot of the lines are delivered just like that. Just like,
Mhm.
I don't know why you would think that, Jenny.
Is it meant to be tongue in cheek?
No, it's like
That's
it's
funny,
not
right?
intention. It's not self-aware at all. It's
And the whole premise, as far as I could tell, was these goblins were trying to trick these people into eating this green goo that turns them into like half plant, half people hybrids because that's their favorite food.
it's a vegetarian knock,
What a
basically.
horrible food.
Yeah, and the town is called
Nilbog.
Nilbog, which is goblin.
Goblin.
It's called Nilbog, and it's goblin backwards.
Okay, I like that. That's
It's
funny.
so fucking shitty. There's
What
a
is
scene.
that? Like, oh, go ahead.
I was gonna say there's a scene where what is it? There's like corn on the cob.
Oh yeah, between the two like lovers. Yeah, the guy and the girl like making out, and so she takes like a whole ear of corn and puts it between their mouths, and like I guess it's so hot what they're doing, the corn starts popping, and but there's no way to make that a visual effect, so they just throw popcorn at them.
Yeah,
That's
And
hilarious.
they end up in a room full of popcorn. Essentially,
Yeah,
from that.
yeah.
Because they were fucking so hot.
Yeah, and they only
Yeah,
had the
it's
one ear of
ridiculous.
corn, so it made no sense.
So, like, I know you're a huge horror movie guy. What are your go-tos? Because I'm always looking for maybe a little more obscure go-tos. Because I'm always looking for campy, bad horror. I love it. It is my
You
favorite genre of movie.
You want campy bad horror?
Campy bad horror.
You need to watch. Everyone needs to watch right now. This is my favorite campy bad horror movie, Sleepaway Camp.
Oh,
Seen it. Yeah,
Seen it? Okay.
Sleepaway Camp is great.
What's another good one here? Off the top of my head, it's been a while since I watched.
We've been watching the Freddy's, and those are super
Freddy's are good.
cheesy.
Yeah. Let's see here. Maniac is
I
good.
haven't seen Maniac. I'll check.
Watch
that out.
the old one. The New York Ripper is good.
New York Ripper.
New York Ripper, Maniac. What's another one here? Those are actually pretty good though. I wouldn't call them like bad, but they're
But I'm down for regular good horror too.
Okay, yeah,
there's something endearing to me about campy bad horror films that I really
Yeah.
enjoy watching.
the 80s has a fucking shit ton. What are some other ones? Off the
Wait,
top of my head.
Sleepaway Camp. That's not the one where
That's with the dick, right?
the chick has a dick at the end, right? Yeah, it is.
yeah.
There we go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have a light switch in my room, and it's her with the knife, and the light switch is her penis. So you can you flip it on and off, and yeah.
Yeah, that was some college student they paid to wear a mask,
Mhm.
and he got really, really drunk before he did it. They said
Yep.
Why would you get drunk before?
because he was embarrassed because he was about to be in like
A feature film.
a feature
naked.
film with his dick out.
Yeah.
He got a mask on.
Yeah, but still,
Yeah.
Oh, fair enough. You know, you want to look your best, so you want to get bloated and drunk.
Yeah, exactly.
he's got that.
Yeah. Maniac.
I wouldn't volunteer for that spot. My big fat fucking belly hanging out. That'd be so embarrassing.
I don't know what they pay him.
Probably fucking nothing. It was an 80s horror movie.
Case of beer.
In case of beer and
Give him a case of natty and
a honey bun. Yeah.
a honey bun.
Not much to it. I can't
I'll
think of
check
anything
it out.
else.
Is Maniac from 2012? It's a recent movie.
The 2012 one is the Elijah Wood remake. It's not bad, but watch the old one. Watch
I love Elijah Wood, so I might watch.
I know we've talked
Watch
about
both.
it before, but I would recommend The Void.
The Void's good.
The Void is
Yeah.
like this Lovecraftian horror thing with real special, like practical effects instead of CGI for the most part.
The Void's very good. Yeah.
Got a little bit of body horror mixed
Oh.
in with the Lovecraftian stuff. It's cool.
House of the Devil is really cool. It's a newer horror movie. It's like 2009, I think it was made, but it was made to be and look like it was made in the 80s. Ty West, I think, made it. That's a good one.
We watched that shit on Netflix. What is it? The there's like a 3-part movie series that's horror, where it's like different time periods.
That's that new thing. I know what you're talking about. I watched it too. It was good.
The first episode is like in like 1994 or something. So we watched that one. I haven't followed up, but it was okay. It's very gory.
Yeah, it's very good. Yeah, it was actually a good one. It was almost like Stranger Things. Hack-O-Lantern is one. If you want campy, bad, good 80s horror, Hack-O-Lantern. That is a really fucking good one. I'm gonna watch that one again. Actually, I'll spell it out for you.
Hack-O-Lantern.
Hack-O-Lantern. That one's a fucking great one.
I'll check all these out. This is my favorite genre of movie. Just love it.
Yeah, off the top of my head, I've watched so many that I don't remember the names of most of them. The Beyond is good.
What do you don't enjoy the campy bad horror at all?
Right. It's like like, do I like rap music? Kind of. I like the best 5% of the songs and not the others. Do I like horror movies? Same thing. If I throw a dart at a horror movie, I probably don't like it, but I like some.
Okay.
There's a really horrible one called Shrooms.
I've seen that. I watched that shit the first time I got high off of like weed. Bad idea. I was convinced I heard like a car door slam, like I don't know, half a mile away. And I was watching it with my girlfriend at the time and her friend. And I heard that car door slam and I just shut off the fucking TV, shut off the lights. I'm like, it's the fucking cops. Get in the room and shut the fuck up. And I'm like, I just turn off all the lights in the house. I was convinced, 100% convinced.
All because of Shrooms, that horrible movie where they're like in the woods doing drugs and it goes poorly.
It's bad. Yeah. It's not very good. Not very good. Not very good.
What is You on Netflix? Is that horror or something else?
It's a really good show. I'm watching it with my girlfriend right now. Have you seen Dexter?
Yes.
Yeah.
It is like Dexter, but the guy is not really self-aware of what he's doing, and it's more romance-based. Like he's a very dangerous, like stalker simp that sets up these relationships, and there's like death and
okay. So he's like a relatable character.
Yeah, it's
we all know one of him.
Yeah, it's better than Dexter, I think.
That's high praise. Dexter was really good for a while.
Dexter's about to come back for a season.
It is. Yeah.
Dexter in the last seasons was absolute dog shit. It didn't make any sense.
I just wish he'd gotten it over and fucked Deb before she died.
Yeah. Seriously.
Yeah, if he killed that annoying face sister, that would have been great.
God, that last season of Dexter was rough. Yeah, it was. It wasn't the ending so much as the last season specifically was fucking bad. It was.
It had been getting bad. Like I don't know. Every year he found a new fucking sidekick to be weird with.
I bought this new service called Shudder through Prime Video.
I've got it.
You have Shudder?
Yeah.
So I just added it for the free 7-day thing last night because I wanted to watch one of those. There is nothing between the absolute worst horror on there and then 1 in 20 movies will be like, this is pretty fucking good horror.
Yeah.
But for the most part, it's like, I watched one called like Cannibal Farm and it was just so retarded. I love bad horror though, so it being retarded isn't that bad. Are you going to keep Shudder? Because I don't think I am at this point. It hasn't won me over. They don't have not enough of a content library of horror films. Otherwise, I'd do it for sure.
There's just so much shit horror on there that I do need to unsubscribe from it. I need to figure out how, because I've probably been subbed for 3 or 4 months or something like that. The Void is really good. If you want to watch that, it's on there. It's The Void. It's a little low budget, but you don't notice it. It's sort of it's Lovecraftian horror. It's definitely got that going on.
Is it actually scary, or is it more of like a sci-fi thriller kind of thing? That's what
it's not sci-fi. It's more like a body horror and the occult.
Oh, okay. Maybe I'll check that out. I'll probably watch.
I think it's good. It was entertaining. Not. Oh, I wanted to talk. I'll wait till Woody gets back, but I got our next topic. I want to talk about that young lady who's a member of our $50 patron club,
and the movie that she shared with me the other day.
Oh yes, you teased that before the show. It doesn't even sound like you're telling the truth about what that movie's about. But,
exactly. The premise of the movie is so bonkers that Taylor was like, "Well, that's not a real thing." But
well, you didn't even give us the title. I didn't even want to look it up. This is an interesting film.
Let me find the title again because I have already forgotten it.
We're talking about Shudder. Filthy. It's like the SHUDDER. It's this new service on Amazon. It's strictly horror films and horror series. And once they flesh that out and build a bigger content library, I can see myself paying the same amount as Netflix. I would replace Netflix with that. Half the shit I watch on Netflix is shitty horror movies or shitty thrillers that I like. Just mindless nonsense.
I've never gotten into that. Like my brother's a big horror fan, and I just never really found that a genre that grabbed me. I hate jump scares. Fucking hate them. Like physiologically, I just don't like the feeling of a jump scare. It just annoys the piss out of me, right?
I prefer psychological fear.
True.
You know, have you seen Witch or The Witch? Maybe
is that the one with like the Witch, like two V's in it? Yeah, I'd watch that.
That one's quite good. I don't know exactly what year it is, but think like 1500, 1600, something like that. Colonial, not pre-colonial America, and this father, his wife, and maybe 3 kids sort of leave the village. They're being cast out of the village for his religious beliefs. And it seems that he's even more religious than they are. It's not that he's evil or anything. And living out on a remote farm by themselves, they have some issues with a witch. And I thought it was pretty good. There's some satanic stuff going on. And
it's definitely more. There's a couple jump scares, but they don't rely on that.
Very few jump scares.
I run into there's a couple things that I don't love either way, right? I watched Hostel a million years ago, right?
Yeah,
that's body horror, right? So it's
essentially Roth movie.
Yeah, torture porn, exactly. The body horror, where it's like you're getting like zoomed in shit of people's Achilles tendons being cut and shit like that, and I'm just like, I don't want to watch this. like that. I don't like that stuff, and I don't particularly like jump scares either because it's like. I get my body reacts real strong to jump scares. Like I get the real heart acceleration, adrenaline rush, and I just don't fucking like it. It annoys me that
predictable almost. Where like if I'm watching a horror movie, I want to be spooked psychologically. Where I'm like, oh man, this is genuinely creepy. It's giving me I saw that character in the back. I got a little I don't even know what
Hereditary is good
called,
for that.
Where you just get a chill. But the jump scares. When you do get a jump scare, it's like, what the fuck? Now I know that there's not going to be a jump scare for a while. Like you crested your kind of apex there, and now you blew your wad, and we're going back down again. Whereas if there's a consistent high stress level of like that's what you want in a horror movie. You don't want it to be, oh no, there's a ghost now, and it's like, oh okay, awesome. So now I know there's going to be 8 more minutes until there's another guy standing behind the pantry when he gets an apple or something.
I watched some horror movie as a kid at the cinema. I don't remember which one it was, but it was there was the supernatural villain in it was some like doctor, like haunted doctor, some whatever, right? But the way they filmed him, he didn't move fluidly. He didn't move like a human being moved. Didn't walk. It was kind of like jolting, like cuts almost as he moved.
That sounds
like Japanese. The girl. Yeah.
And I thought that was really the first time I encountered that, I'm like, that was scary in the moment to me. And it also wasn't a fucking jump scare, and it stuck with me as something because they really captured that not quite human feel of it. Right, with that cinematography, which I thought was pretty fucking good.
I don't mind some jump scares. I just don't want them to rely on the jump scares because I love The Exorcist. The Exorcist has jump scares though. Like there's a scene where the mother goes up in the attic to see what all the noise is up there, and the guy's telling her it's not rats, and she's got a candle. Is it called a candelabra? The thing that holds like multiple and she's like trying to see what's going on, and all of a sudden the candles all ignite like gas lanterns, like get really big, and it's a jump scare, but there's not a ton of jump scares.
They don't use it like a crutch.
No, exactly that. There's a lot of The Exorcist is probably my favorite horror movie. I really like The Conjuring. I really like The Descent, the first one with the girls who go spelunking.
That's a good one.
That's a really good one for me. And but this movie this girl just recently recommended, I can't believe I watched it. I shouldn't have watched it. It is I'll wait for Woody.
I'm excited to get your recap because all you gave us was like a one phrase thing before the show. No, don't give any hints. Wait for it, because the little hint he gave me was enough to get my wheels turning.
I don't like being manipulated by movies, right? Like I know the whole fucking genre, like the whole thing about movies is
This is a new genre.
New genre? Okay.
You've never seen a movie like
crossover
this.
between horror and sex. That's what I'm getting. Those are the two things we've talked about tonight. So it's got to be in between.
There is horrific sex in it. I will say that.
I think my favorite horror movie of all time is The Thing.
Oh yeah, that's right up there with me too. I love The Thing. I'll take that back. I don't like all John Carpenter stuff because some of his shit I just really do dislike. But I like that one a lot. It's one of my favorite movies. I've seen it 30 times probably. Fucking McCready, played by Kurt Russell, is so goddamn good.
Yeah.
And then the creature itself and the way it works and the rules behind it are really cool. Them sort of turning on each other and nobody knowing who's the thing is a cool aspect of the movie. I love that.
This
and the
wasn't one
location.
of was this the Antarctica one or?
Yeah. It is. They made a prequel / remake maybe 5 years ago that relied heavily on CGI, but the original is all in camera. Like all the special effects are in camera. We talked about this not that long ago, but one of the coolest shots for me, there's a body that's like been infected. And there's a doctor on the Antarctic like base, and he's got the paddles, to the defibrillator paddles, and he goes to like apply them. And when he does, the chest opens up like jaws, and his hands go into the body cavity, and the jaws bite his arms off. And so he pulls away these two stubs, and he's screaming. They achieved that visual by using an actor who didn't have arms. Like they put fake arms on a guy with stumps, whatever.
Really?
And then he puts that into the jaws, and then it literally bites the fake arms off. And so he pulls away his actual stumps, and he's going, ah, and it looks so real because it is. I mean, a body didn't bite his arms off. Well, it did. A body did bite his arms off, technically.
Yeah, that's definitely up there. I wouldn't put American Psycho as a horror movie. I'd put that as a thriller. I think.
Thriller.
I'm sure I understood that movie. I watched it a million years ago, but it left me with a lot of questions. I'm like, what the fuck?
It requires two watchings about what's actually going on. They intentionally film it. That they would film like there's the interrogation scenes with Willem Dafoe speaking to Christian Bale's character, and they would have Willem Dafoe do 3 different takes. One,
so many fucking good films.
Yeah, they would do one take where Willem Dafoe knows that Christian Bale did it, and he would do it that way, and then they would do another where he doesn't know who did it, and then they would do another where he believes Christian Bale is completely innocent, and then they would chop all 3 up and mix them together. So you get this weird thing where you're like, I don't know what's going on here.
Yeah, I remember that being the feeling I walked away from the movie. Was like, what the fuck just happened?
Yeah, that movie has a lot of turns like that. When he just loses it at the end and just starts murdering homeless people. How are you doing? Mr. Bates or whatever. He just blows the guard's head off.
I love how fucked up whatever he did to those prostitutes was, where she was just like, we're never coming back here.
Yeah, we're never coming back here.
This was a big mistake.
Money you have. Yeah, that movie.
So what conversation did I walk into?
Horror movies.
That was about how Kyle met his current girlfriend.
Yes. Yeah. Get out that old clothes iron, straighten her out, get the blowtorch, and have a good time. So we were talking about horror movies, and I was talking about one of our $50 patrons. I was talking to her about movies and horror movies specifically, and I think I recommended a couple to her. I was like, watch Event Horizon and maybe The Void. I might have recommended that one to her too. And she was like, have you ever heard of The Strange Thing About the Johnsons? And I was like, no, what's that like? And she's like, oh, it's a good one. It's made by the same guy who made Hereditary. And I was like, well, Hereditary wasn't my favorite horror movie, but it was definitely a really well-made horror movie, and I respect it. So, all right, I'm going to go watch The Strange Thing About the Johnsons. Well, it is a half-hour, roughly, short film made in 2011, made by Ari Aster. And the premise is, all right, let me walk you through this. One of the opening scenes, one of the early scenes of the movie.
Please.
Young black kid, maybe 13 years old. He's in bed. He's jerking off, and he's got a little bit of jerk material that he's looking at. He's got
porn.
No, this is. Oh yeah, what he's looking at,
as opposed to lotion. I'm trying to get my hands around jerk
I thought you were
material.
saying like the I was describing a porno.
Oh,
I
no,
got a little confused at first. So essentially, you see he's holding
Because I have
something.
a lot of supplies when I jerk off. There's a whole host.
I understand. It's like a tackle box. Gotta get the poppers, everything. So he's jerking off. You can start to see his hand moving under the blankets, and he's holding something that he's looking at, some visual stimulation. And his father walks in and catches him, and it's a little awkward. And the dad comes up and he's like, "Hey, look, this is completely natural, right? Like, look, you're growing up, you're becoming a man. I get it. Just hey, don't let your mom catch you. That'll be embarrassing. But look, just keep the door closed. I'll knock from now on." They had that talk. Really, really good stuff. The dad handles it perfectly or whatever. The dad leaves, and the kid looks back at his jerk material. Anyone want to take a guess what he was looking at?
I won't say. I just read the synopsis, and that was a roller coaster ride.
He's looking.
I'm probably wrong. Was it gay porn? Is it just as simple as that?
He's looking at a picture of his dad. He's looking at a picture of his dad. That's what he's jerking off to.
Okay.
So then we go forward in time. Keep in mind, it's a short film.
Wasn't
30,
this
35
fortuitous?
minutes.
This worked out better for him than he thought.
Yeah.
Well, you'll see.
Yeah. So he begins to systematically rape his father over the course of their lives. At his wedding, the son's getting married, and he's got his bride next to him. His mom and dad are there. They're posing for the picture, and the son is grabbing the dad's ass in the back. He's like, yeah, getting him a big handful of daddy ass. And then he takes his dad in the back, like in like this hidden area. And he's like mouth fucking the dad, like raping his mouth in the back. And the dad is super ashamed of all this. He's literally being raped by the son, but he can't tell anyone. And there's scene where the dad is taking a bath. He's just trying to get away from all the rape. And he's, I want to say it was a scene where he didn't know the son was still in the house. Maybe they'd had like a dinner party and the son should have gone home with his own wife, but the son like breaks a picture frame out and he goes, "I'm going to stay and clean this up," to his wife, and his wife leaves. So it's just him, his mother and his father in the home now. And so the dad is in the bathtub. He's got a headset on like I do, and he's listening to some music. He's relaxing in the fucking bathtub, and the son starts knocking on the door. But the dad doesn't hear it. Well, this enrages the son. He goes, "You know how I feel about locked doors." And you're just like, "Oh no, what's he really do?"
is rapey.
And the son starts bashing the door down with his shoulder, and the door is like splintering, like the frame of the door. And he comes into the room, and the dad goes, "Ah!" and then you just cut away to the mother upstairs in bed, like watching television, sitting on the edge of the bed, turning the volume up.
She knows.
Up to cover the screams of the father while he's getting ass raped down in the bathroom below.
Is that how it ends?
This is entertainment.
Oh no, the ending. I'm gonna spoil the ending. Anyone who's not gonna watch the movie,
I would never watch this.
I'm not gonna
exactly.
watch this.
That's why I usually don't spoil endings but this one I don't think anyone's gonna watch. But if you're gonna watch it, cut away right now. It'll take me like 30 seconds to tell the ending. Now, all right. So the ending is the dad is writing his story. He's like writing it in a memoir and on his computer about how this all happened. It's called "It Hurts to Sit." The Johnson family story, and he's got it all written out, how this all happened and why he's afraid and ashamed and all this. And the son catches him with it, and he grabs it, and the dad does, and starts running out of the house, runs across the street, and a fucking truck hits him right there, fucking kills him dead right in the street. And the son is holding his bloody body, crying, and that's how it ends.
Wow.
So do you still have contact with this person to recommend this to you?
Yeah.
So
yeah,
how did the dad get raped the first time? Was the son bigger and stronger from the get-go? Is that the scoop?
Yeah. Son's a muscular young man. Look, I watch this shit and I go back to her. Again, for Woody's benefit, this is one of our $50 patrons. This is one of the wonderful people who we hang out with every month. Yeah. And I'm just like, why the fuck did you send that to me? I watched it. Why would you send that to me? I sent you fun movies. Sam Neill was in that movie. That
was a real movie.
That was a real movie. Like it's. You sent me an incest, rape, black family, gay short film that has ruined my evening.
This is. Why would you make?
And what was the answer? What was the answer? I pay you $50. I own you.
Like, I thought it was funny.
I thought it was funny. Was her answer?
She loves it. She loved it.
I mean, it doesn't sound funny.
No, it sounds the opposite of funny.
She's great. She's a very.
There's no jump scares. It sounds like though.
Not a jump scare at all. No,
Yeah.
just a lot of incestuous gay rape.
Yeah, familial rape. Is there even a word for that? You know how it's like
incest,
filicide if you kill your son, like patricide if you kill your father. What is it if you rape your own father?
Patrifuckery. I don't know.
I'm not googling that.
No, you know what? I
think that's on Woody. Doesn't he do the fact checking?
I've stopped.
For reasons like this.
It's so fucked. I want to try to find like an image of it that sort of like spells out like how awkward it is. Yeah, it's perfect. Give me just like 10 seconds to get it to
images of it. Let me see. I want to see him grabbing his dad's ass.
I'm not going to show you anything like you wouldn't want to see.
Yeah, some assumptions about what I want to see.
Is this something I could stream on Twitch?
I don't know about the legality of it, but it'd be hilarious.
Is it on? What do you pull out of that? What's the Amazon list for that called, Taylor?
A wish list?
No. You're limited to
the watch party thing.
Yeah.
I would only want to do it if I could find it on YouTube. The Strange Thing About the Johnsons.
So I guess that kid gets bigger and stronger.
All movies on YouTube 8 years ago. I could watch this. I don't know if I want to though.
Wait, you can watch old movies that are on YouTube?
If it's on YouTube, you can watch it
on Twitch.
Yeah, like the Hoarders episodes I'm watching are from like 2011. Like A&E at one point like decided like, all right, after a certain number of years, we just upload for free all episodes from other seasons because it's a smart move for them to keep the SEO good on things like that, and so they don't mind you watching old stuff. So, but like if I wanted to watch new seasons of 60 Days In. And I signed in with my cable login, I can't stream that. They would shut that right down because they don't have that available for free. So,
Okay.
But yeah, the Strange Thing About the Johnsons, that's free, 30 minutes. Let's see if I can find let's find the bath scene. Here it is.
I hated it so much. I hated it more than I've hated anything in a long, long time. I would rather buy $35 nipples every day this week than watch that movie again.
I guess I won't see it because you did capture my interest with it.
Oh my God! Trick Jackie into watching it with you and just act like you love it. Like, you're gonna love this. You're gonna love this. Remember when I showed you Lord of the Rings for the first time? Buckle up.
Oh, I just found the scene where the son's smiling all big at his wedding and he's got a big fistful of dad ass, and you see the dad just and the son beaming. I don't want to watch this.
Your stream does now.
But this is how I feel like
this
is how I feel like 99% of horror movies is exactly what you're describing. I'm like, why would I want to go through that? Like, what do I get from that? What is my bonus? What do I take? What's my take home from this that I like? Why am I doing
I don't think there's going to be any happy take home from this. Kyle described it, from what I can tell from the Wikipedia article, exact to a T, except at the end, it doesn't end with the father dying according to this. It ends with the son going into the living room and the mom stabbing him, and then he tries to force her into the fireplace, and then she stabs him to death, and then it ends. Right?
I stopped watching.
Frank, you didn't watch to the end?
You watched what, 23 and a half minutes of a 25-minute film? And you're like, no.
I stopped watching when the father dies in the street being held by I was just like, you know what, enough. I didn't know there was more. I didn't know there was. I thought that was the end. The camera kind of pans up. I was like, that's it. That's all right. Enough. I'm gonna go watch some fucking Looney Tunes to wash my brain of this filth that this girl has put upon me.
I can even tell from the body language this is some rough acting. Is it?
I didn't think so. I didn't think the acting was that bad.
The sequel to It will be coming. The movie was not good. Like I gotta say,
you saw the new It? I still have.
Chiz and I watched it, and we were both like first of all, Chiz and I recently watched The Conjuring together. It's fucking scary. All right, Chiz didn't find it to be as scary as maybe I had built it up to be, but you know, when you build something up, your mind can paint terrifying pictures, and The Conjuring perhaps didn't live up to those. However, The Conjuring is frightening. There are maybe 4 points in the movie where you're just where I yell out loud and I'm just like, ah, fuck. And there's at least 4 or 5 more that are really scary. And but I wasn't scared at any point during that entire movie. The CGI was so it wasn't bad, but it wasn't scary.
When you say it wasn't scary to you, do you mean there weren't any like pop-up scares that really got you, or the entire feel of the movie didn't pull you in and creep you out?
Both. The pop-up scares, you're like, all right, here it comes, and it's not even scary. And there was no like dread built up. I didn't think the scariest part of the entire movie was the fact that the girl's father was very rapey. That was the scariest thing. That was the only fear throughout the whole thing was like, God, is he gonna fuck her? Like he's getting real grabby with this 13-year-old girl. He's like, you're still my little girl, right? What do you got in that bag? Some tampons? Oh, you're still my little girl. Is that a real thing, or you just saying yeah,
it? No?
yeah. He's like stroking her hair. He's like, yo, your
that
hair.
sounds pretty scary.
I want to jump in and say I mixed up Hank Green and John Green, just to cut people off who say I mixed up Hank Green and John
Cool.
Green.
It's okay.
Yeah. That was the only like fucked up thing in the whole movie. The like, you know, the monster, which sort of takes on the form of whatever you're most afraid of. Like it. I mean, at one point it grabs a little boy and rips his arm off, but the in practice it's not scary. You're just like, I guess that kid's gonna die. It was kind of funny. You could almost laugh at it. Like there was an SNL bit where who was it that was down in the it was
that plays Session.
Kellyanne Conway. It was Kellyanne Conway. She was it down in the sewer.
No.
Hey there, it's Kellyanne Conway here. Yeah, absolutely. Because of her makeup.
But it wasn't actually Kellyanne Conway. It was the same.
No, of course
actress.
not.
Well,
It's Saturday Night Live.
matters.
Yeah.
You said it was Kellyanne Conway. Kellyanne Conway's been on the show, I think. Anyway, it was the same actress that plays Kellyanne Conway.
What's your all-time scariest movie that you guys have ever seen? I know that's a tough one because it's hard to.
The Exorcist is very fucking scary because it spends a lot of time building up that dread and establishing the characters. And when you finally get to the show, when that girl is raspily stabbing herself in the vagina with a crucifix, screaming, "Let Jesus fuck you! Let Jesus fuck you!" And the priest is like, "What the shit?" Like that's scary to me. That movie is quite scary. The Conjuring, honestly, is one of the scariest movies. And the Ascent, the Descent.
The Descent, yeah.
The Descent. I especially when I watched it in like 2006, I want to say, when it came out in theaters. At that point in my life, I came out and I was like, that's the scariest movie I've ever seen. That's it right there, like bar none. Now, of course, I have my.
Not had that impact on me. I'm sorry, that was a break. My scariest movie, because it caught me at the right time in my life, original Poltergeist. That movie. Oh, really? Maybe you were older when you saw it. I don't know.
Rated PG?
I don't think so.
How much you would bet?
$5.
Done.
All right, PayPal bet.
You just lost.
That movie was rated PG.
I don't even have to check.
Yeah.
Check.
You were so confident, but every so often I'm right on these, but not this time. That movie freaked me out, and I don't know. There were TVs in my house. Static was a thing that would happen on TVs back in the day. That freaked me out. All sorts of dark, like, closed doors or rooms you didn't use all the time, like, your parents' closet or something, became suspect, and it just, I don't know. It was the right kind of scary for where I was.
Have you seen the Paranormal Activity movies?
Oh yeah. I saw the first one
They're
in theaters.
pretty good, but
they are excellent. So the first one, they made it, and then who's the director? Maybe Spielberg. So they made this movie for like a super low budget. Let's call it $250,000, $500,000, something like that. Maybe $1 million, but whatever. And I want to say Spielberg saw it, and he was like, "You got the framework for an incredible movie here. Here's an extra like $1 million. We're gonna beef this up and like we're gonna make this a blockbuster." And that's what happened, if I remember correctly. And it made a ton of money, like 150 million on like $1.25 million budget, something like that. That's a very scary movie. The first one especially. There's a part where they keep hearing something up in the attic, and the husband goes up that attic ladder to check it out, and there's no music. In fact, it's silence. Like you can almost hear white noise. It's so quiet. And he's like looking up there, and the camera pans really slowly. So you want to be like, like left, right, check the whole attic in a fraction of a second, like we probably would, like, but he's just like slowly looking. So at any moment you expect something to grab him, and then he's like, what's this here? And it's a picture of the little girl of his wife, his girlfriend or whatever, when she was a little girl at like her old house, and it's burnt. And the thing was that her old house was burnt down. So and he's like, how could this even be here? And then like 6 seconds later, the invisible monster grabs her and starts dragging her screaming down the hallway. That one really scared me pretty badly. And of course, my own personal predilections to aliens mean that Fire in the Sky and The Fourth Kind absolutely horrify me. Not in that order, though. The Fourth Kind is scarier than Fire in the Sky. If you want a really, truly terrifying movie, The Fourth Kind fucked me up. I had to watch it.
I haven't even heard of that one.
So, you ever see that movie Close Encounters of the Third Kind?
Long time ago.
That's when you make contact with an alien. When you visually see one like over there. There he is. The Fourth Kind is when they take you. It's got Mila Jovovich in it. And I want to say she's like a therapist or a psychologist or something like that. And she's treating all of these various town folk who have this same nightmare about the owl.
Super hot.
Mila Jovovich is the chick from Resident Evil. She's very attractive, I think. She's got sort of a haircut down to here, very skinny, very flat chested, but very pretty. That's a real scary movie. Let me do this.
If we're finishing up on the scary story thing, or not scary story, scary movie, like don't let my answer be poisoned by the subsequent movies in this series, but the original Saw really creeped me the fuck out.
That's a good one.
The first one, where it was super low budget and it was just focusing. That's still a great movie.
You can put yourself in there, and what decisions would you make? These people have very hard decisions to make.
And like it's not over the top with like a retarded twist. Like it's got a good, pretty believable twist. Like I like it.
See, the thing is, I feel like with enough time you could saw through that chain. Like the whole movie, he's like, the whole movie he spends so much time like talking to the other guy and like not even bothering with the saw anymore. And he was like, "Oh, the saw's broke." Well, you hold the blade, maybe you take your sock off and wrap it around the blade, make yourself a little handle, and you slowly saw the fucking chain off, bro.
The metal on the saw is gonna wear all the way through before you get through that chain. Like I got experience with chain.
This. Like I've sawn through.
Do you think that he gave them whatever quality or gauge steel, like saw or whatever, to get through it, or do you think if he's gone through that much effort to orchestrate this plan that he would have given them something that he knows isn't going to succeed?
I don't know that they make a saw blade low grade enough that it won't do the job.
But they make a chain high grade enough that it can't be cut with a hacksaw.
That is possible, I suppose.
But
I suppose
it's not a hard and fast rule, but usually they're like brassy and yellowy in color, and it wasn't. So it would imply that you could cut it with that saw.
Yeah, and with enough time, you'd make some headway, I think. You know, like he should. The whole movie should have been like, as they're having conversations, he's still over there like, you're still not getting anywhere. But I don't think I can't saw my fucking foot off, because look, think ahead, Carrie.
You're gonna die
as soon as you get that foot. You think you're gonna sprint? You're gonna hop to like go rescue your family member? Like no, that's not gonna work.
Yeah,
you're in a very tough spot.
Yeah.
But that's why I liked it. It put you in a tough, seemingly impossible spot, and it was really fucked, and they were pretty oblivious or ignorant as to why it was happening at first. I don't know. It just seemed like something. It was easy to empathize with the initial part of it, where you're like, oh, fuck. This appears to just be two guys plucked off the street who are thrown together. And this could have just easily been me or you or someone else.
I'm almost afraid to admit it now. And much like Taylor's Don't Let the Subsequent Stuff Ruin It For You, the end of, is it season 6 when we met Negan of Walking Dead? Was as powerful to me as, like, so people don't know, basically they're in this RV, they're trying to take a pregnant woman to see a doctor, and Negan and his crew keep blocking the road. And everywhere, you just like, oh my God, let's turn it around. We can't deal with these guys. And then they get blocked somewhere else. But the blocking force is even bigger. And then it's even bigger. And it's like, do we fight them? There's 5 of us and 15 of them. But if this continues, there's just going to be 30 at the next roadblock and 70 at the roadblock after that. I wish we had fought them back when it was fair. And you're just like, well, you can't turn back. Like, they were in such a terrible spot. And I don't know, the lighting and the production and the whole thing just worked on me to make it as good as a horror movie.
It absolutely was for me as well. When Negan like shows his face and he gets and like the up until this point, the odds were never overwhelming like this. We'd never seen a group of more than like 25 people, and there's just a convoy of these motherfuckers, and their ability to block those roads the way they did. For people who don't know, they sawed down dozens of enormous pine trees and like laid them across. It's clear that like lots of manpower and like material is being used. It's a show of force as much as it is a blockade. And then when they're all on their knees and he's got that bat, I was genuinely afraid, like for the characters. Like I felt a little sick to my stomach. I was full of dread. And then he kills Abraham. And then and someone pops up and hits him, right? You know, Daryl does. And then he's like, what did I tell you? Someone steps out of light, I'm gonna shut that shit down. And you're like, oh, no, Daryl, what have you done? He's gonna shut that shit down. He already said he would. You forgot? He just said it before he bashed the big guy's brains in. Like, and that was when I reached peak levels of afraid for the crew. And then when he takes
Glenn.
He kills Glenn, and then he takes Rick for that ride. I was literally sick to my stomach at that point. I was a little nauseous after seeing Glenn's eye pop out of his head, and like as it was as much the eye popping out of his head and Maggie's reaction to it as it was Rick's reaction. He's just shattered. He's all teary-eyed by the end of it, and just completely like I think he's gonna cut his hand off with that hatchet. I didn't know what was gonna happen, and then he like gets Carl's hand out there, and he's gonna make him cut Carl's hand off. I was sick to my stomach.
Yeah, that was like fucked up.
Rick is missing a hand in the comics, so as a guy who's also read the comics, that like oh, here we're gonna sync that up now. You know, we're gonna make this two together. But,
yeah. So yeah, that was one of the scariest TV moments I'd ever seen.
Have you started The Expanse?
No, I haven't. I've been playing a lot of video games with online. That's been taken up an enormous.
I'm not an H.R. Giger expert or anything. I'm certainly aware of the work that he did for Alien. You know, designing the creature, the sort of biomechanical fetish that he seems to have as a designer. And I would describe it as a fetish because a lot of his I don't know what he is. I would describe it as artwork. I would describe him as an artist, but I don't know what he did before his work started getting used as inspiration and designs for film. What's his background?
He's an artist. He's a very unique artist. I mean, he delves into a lot of different things. He'll paint, he'll airbrush, he'll sculpt. As far as his background, I don't know too much of it beyond basically where he started with I mean, he's done stuff before the biomechanical thing, but I think that was really kind of his landmark. That was the thing where, oh, this is his style, this is the thing that he does, and that was really the thing that got him the most attention. The thing with Species that really was sad was that he had designed so many things with Syl, with the alien version of Syl, where every day he would draw something and fax it over because he was still over in his home country while they were designing, they were working on the film in America, because he didn't want to leave the side of his sick mother, who she was dying at the time. So he was faxing them all these drawings and all this artwork and so many things, like you can see in the video where he had written on there, "Do not copy Alien. Do not copy Ridley Scott's Alien. Do not make this like Alien." And it seemed that the director took that as, oh, okay, let's make this just like Alien.
Yeah.
So a lot of the things that they changed were to make it more like Alien. And it was kind of a shame.
I didn't like that they went in that direction. I don't fault the makers of that movie for steering a little bit away from Giger's design, because it's like, okay, you're a brilliant artist. You have a unique way of doing things. Your mind is something special, but we're on a budget here. We're making something for general audiences. And you want to make some sort of a woman who glows a little brighter every time she mutates more and gets angrier. And by the end, she's just a glowing piece of metal that's bioluminescent and semi-transparent. And you want to see her baby growing inside of her while she's running around murdering people.
Sounds expensive.
I see. And what will the vagina look like, sir? I understand you have many sketches of the vagina.
No, we're saving money there. As any. Yeah.
First of all, I love what Giger does. And anytime, I think you were right in your video that the studio really wanted his name attached just so they could be like, oh, H.R. Giger designed creature. Because me as a viewer, if I see that, I'm like, all right, let's see what he fucking came up with this time. But I wouldn't want to hang out with that guy. That guy seems creepy. I bet that guy is into some weird shit.
Absolutely.
Weird. He seemed like his artwork is all this really it's like women, and it's almost all female, and it's almost all semi-sexualized, but it's also like this they're like half women, half machine, half demon, and they're in like all sorts of weird positions, and like it's really weird to look at, and it's beautiful. He's incredibly talented, but yeah, I don't fault him for not going along with everything he came up with, but I didn't like that. Like the poster for that movie, for example, like you pointed out, it's like, come on, this is just a complete ripoff. There's even like green glowing light on it. Come on.
Yeah, they changed a lot of this stuff. I mean, I don't entirely blame them. Like you said, there's a lot of ideas that he was throwing out there, and they were pretty crazy. So I don't fault them for trying to steer the ship away from that. But he had a lot of really cool ideas and things that would have definitely helped to set it apart. Like, I love the movie too. I wouldn't have done a 40-minute video about it if I didn't love it. But I think that it would have kind of transcended just, naked woman runs around killing people. And it might have been something a little bit special. Maybe not on the level of the original Alien, but I think it would have been something a little bit more special. And it would have been a little bit more memorable if they would have listened to him and taken some of his ideas. Because he did have some cool things where he was showing them. They were like, oh, we can't do that. And then he would do it and had them over to his house and be like, no, here's how we're going to do it. And you can do it practically. You don't need to do the CG to do this. And they were like, oh, but then they still didn't do it. So I don't entirely fault them. I mean, that's the whole thing with production and with going back and forth with producers. Sometimes it's a good thing. Sometimes it's a bad thing. For example, George Lucas wanted Han Solo to be a giant talking fish. And the producers were like, okay, look, we said you could have a giant talking dog, Chewbacca, but we're not going to have a giant talking fish with a giant talking dog. So like, you have to have some humans in here. So then they ended up, letting him make Han Solo be Harrison Ford, and the rest is geek history. So I think that's kind of along the lines of this. It's like, you have to have a little bit of back and forth with the producers, or you're either going to go too crazy or not crazy enough.
Yes, we always hear about the downsides of studio meddling and how it can ruin films, and you see it a lot. But I'm sure there's been plenty of examples of studio meddling that like reined in a director who was out of his fucking mind. And I think you just nailed it right there. Like idea of, I'm picturing that movie like with Han Solo's voice coming out of a fish, but he's like a little bubbly every time he says something. Like you hear like some water bubbles or something, and like I just don't I just don't think that works.
No, it would have probably. I don't know if it necessarily would have ruined the movie, but I think that Han Solo would not be the beloved character that he is today.
Sure,
if he was a giant fish. So, yeah, there are a lot of stories where I've talked to a lot of people in the industry, and I've been lucky enough to hear a lot of stories. I've also been lucky enough to hear stories that they're like, okay, I'm going to tell you this. You can't put it in the video, but I'm going to tell you this, because a lot of people are still working in the industry, and they're like, if you say this, they're going to know that it was me that told you, and it's going to hurt future jobs. And that's kind of a bummer, but it's cool that I have all this like insider information where this director was an asshole, or this husband and wife couple were filming and they were just arguing and they basically got divorced while they were making the movie, like that kind of thing. It's always funny to hear. And I do appreciate hearing that. And I like when I can just have a director or somebody who is out of the industry. Like I talked with a guy he's been out of the industry for about 15 years, and he's just like, oh yeah, I'm going to tell you all this dirt and I'm just going to crap all over everybody. And it's great because you're getting that unfiltered, like not distanced Hollywood answer. You're getting like the real story as opposed to the story that you might have heard.
I watched a show today with a neat premise. I wouldn't be surprised if Kyle saw it. Do you guys know Brightburn? This show,
No,
this TV show? It's a movie, actually. So here it is. It's Superman, essentially, right? So you've got this farming couple, lovely, wonderful, good-hearted people who make an honest living working the land and growing their crops. And then a meteor-like spaceship comes and plows into the earth. They had been trying to have children, but didn't. And sure enough, mom discovers her beautiful baby boy. And they raise this child like it was their own with nothing but kindness and goodness. And it's basically Superman. But sometime around puberty, the boy is bad. And he starts like fucking things up. And he wants to like scare or rape a girl that's his age. She's like also 12 years old, sneaking into her room at night and doing creepy shit. He breaks her hand by just smashing it with his own super strength right in school, like in gym class. He just crushes her hand and it's like deformed and wrecked. He fucks her up. And I won't go too much farther. You can get that much almost out of the trailer. But it's what would happen if Superman came to Earth, but no heart of gold.
Maybe he was a shitty kid.
So we've discussed this before when it came out. I was a big fan of it. But the real mystery is how they didn't get sued, because they're literally copying the Superman mythos right down to the wire. Small town Kansas family, boy falls from the sky. They're infertile, so they take him in. It's Roy from The Office, Pam's douchebag first boyfriend, the fiance. He's the dad. The mother is an actress that I've seen around a lot. She usually does comedic stuff. I think I've seen her in some of those like Seth Rogen movies and stuff like that. Some of those comedies. She's a good actress.
Taylor likes with the big boobs? Or am I mixing up girls? No, okay.
Yeah, and yeah, she doesn't have big boobs. And you're thinking of the girl that I like with the big boobs.
Oh, am I?
Yeah.
How did that narrow it down? Like just one?
She's a comedian with giant boobs. What's her name?
Are we talking about the redhead or the brunette?
Brunette.
Comedian with giant
no, she's a blonde, isn't she?
Roseanne.
No, she had a Netflix special. She did ayahuasca in one of the episodes.
Oh, that's not her. That's
Who are we talking about?
It's Chelsea Handler. He's thinking of Chelsea Handler.
It's not her though. Okay.
It's not. It's definitely not Chelsea Handler. It's an actually funny person. So yeah, it's a good fucking movie. It is very scary in parts to me. I thought it was because I don't know. There's something about like if you've got an adult villain, you're like, he's got motives and goals and well thought out evil plan. He'll stop at nothing, but he's got steps to his plan. But when you've got a child who is like the evildoer, it's like, oh my God, kids have all sorts of crazy thoughts. He could just go off on a tangent and just he could just like the smallest slight could like send him, and it does. You know, these violent, awful things he does. He takes on a whole new persona. He does lots of murder. His powers are those of Superman.
It sounds like the Twilight Zone episode where that kid, where it's like, imagine a world where a little boy can be to his family and you can't do anything about it. Well, now you're in that world and everyone's smoking. Look at this boy. Like that's basically what it is. Just a shitty kid who has ultimate power. But I can see how they wouldn't sue because, like, okay, the origin story is the exact same, but like Superman as a kid, I don't know anything about Superman, but he didn't have a shitty phase. He was always good. And I assume this kid in Brightburn doesn't have a redemption arc. It's about defeating this super shitty kid, not like convincing him to come to become Superman.
Pretty much, yeah. Yeah. This is evil Superman.
It is ridiculously similar though. Like that's absurd.
Kyle said he has the same powers, which is true, but like I'm watching him use his laser eyes, and I'm like, these are like the same special. So they're also red laser eyes, okay? You know, like
the same color. Well, actually, red is the color of evil. So
they even have the same shit with like his spaceship that he lands in is like a very important plot piece because they hide it in the barn. You know,
just like Superman.
Wow, he's taking his new superhero form, Sinister.
Big ass on his chest.
Yes, I'm Sinister, and I'm going to meet up with my girlfriend Lois at Penny Lane.
This is Lois Payne. She's super slutty.
She's
and
like
dumb,
even bigger tits and a whore.
Yeah,
he's evil too.
It's a good popcorn movie. It's I think maybe 90 minutes long, 95 minutes long. It's not some big long ass thing that you really sympathize with the parents. I personally was like neck and neck with the dad with decision processes. I was just like, me and this guy are on the same wavelength. That wife of his though, she needs a talking to, and they better drive way off to do the talking because Junior's got super hearing.
Did he have
was
super
the wife
hearing?
being an enabler? Was the wife enabling his behavior?
The wife was an enabler. She was an apologist. Is what she was. She was he's going through a phase, and this.
Well,
and that.
what happens after he kills his father eventually?
I mean, I don't want to spoil the movie too much, but
I mean, like, I'm obviously he kills his father, right?
I don't want to spoil the movie and confirm or deny whether or not he kills anyone in his family, but he does kill other people, and he goes on several rampages, and it's genuinely frightening is a strong word. You know, I'm a grown man. It's rare that I'm actually in my home and frightened. Jump scares always get me, but I don't think of that as horror. I think of that as like a cheap surprise. Like I was watching Red Letter Media the other day, my favorite YouTube channel of all time. And they were talking about jump scares and how they're just these cheap bullshit nonsense. And they showed like a really quiet clip for a few minutes, and I'm just staring at it like they were like shitting on The Conjuring or something like that. And then all of a sudden they pop up the face of Bagul from Insidious and like play that sound that's just like and I'm it's 4 a.m. here. I'm sitting up in bed and I screamed out loud. It scared me so I was like literally fucking I was just and my heart's racing and I'm like, this is the most afraid I've been in a year. And I was in prison. I haven't been this like surprised, frightened, shocked, whatever you want to call it, since I was threatened with rape in prison, right? Like this is scary as fuck. I don't know if scary is the right word, but I was surprised by it. It was really scary. They are effective on me. This has a few little jump scares, but it's more about the mood and the visuals because the kid wears a mask that he makes.
He's not good
and
at
obviously
sewing.
You can't tell the kid to take the mask off because he's Superman. Or no, he's not Superman.
He only wears the mask when he's out doing evil. And you'll just sort of like a character will be like,
flying boy is that?
A character will be like washing dishes, and like over their shoulder, you'll see like him hovering, wearing this like it looks a bit like Darth Maul or something. It's like red and black and all jagged, and it's genuinely creepy. Good movie. I can't remember the director, but it's someone we all know. I don't want to say Zack Snyder, or maybe it was produced by the guy who ruined Star Trek. I don't remember exactly who made it, but it's a good movie. It's low budget, but you can't tell. Like modern special effects, when used sparingly, are both
You're
really
thinking of
affordable.
James Gunn, I think the producer.
James Gunn, that's the guy. That's the guy. Yeah. So yeah, I would highly recommend that movie.
That's interesting. I'll give that a watch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So now so I'm hoping for a sequel because I get invested when they build a universe. Kyle says no. Interesting.
Won't happen.
Oh, that's what you're saying. So I kind of want to know what happens next. I kind of want to know, like, all right. Oh, and I want the same actor. So the actor that played this guy was like 12, right? So next time, 17 years old, kind of awkward, some pimples, an imperfect person. Let's see what he's up to, right? Like, let's
just
see.
Rape. Just murder, rape all the time. Just killing people with his super cock and blowing loads through the top of their skulls.
Oh yeah, I mean,
all right, put it on Pornhub.
A couple nights ago, I watched The Lighthouse with Willem Dafoe and Robert Pattinson.
Worthwhile?
Fuck, I don't know. Again, it was so bizarre. First of all, black and white and not widescreen. Standard, like
4x3.
4x3. 4x3, black and white. Two men are stationed at a lighthouse. Willem Dafoe is a veteran of doing this, and Robert Pattinson, our Batman to be fella, good-looking gentleman, is the new recruit. He just has started this, and he's like the junior officer. He has to take commands from Willem Dafoe. The acting's incredible, absolutely amazing. There are soliloquies, there are speeches given. There's old-timey sea captain prayers at dinner. It's great to just listen to, but the subject matter. Maybe rented it.
This sounds awesome. I got to watch this now.
Okay, well, I haven't gotten to all the parts that are so goddamn bizarre that I don't understand the movie. And
you're not saying bad. You're just saying bizarre. That's intriguing.
Incredibly bizarre. There's a little bit of Greek mythology mixed in if you want to dig deeply enough.
I'm with it.
There are mind.
I played Age of Mythology. I know my Greek mythology.
It's like an hour and 40-minute acid trip in black and white with lots of masturbation, lots of farting.
Keep it coming. This is it.
Blood, gore, animal
just
destruction.
the way I live. Yeah.
There's quite a bit of. There's a few turds.
Does most of the movie focus on just not the outside world, just them in the lighthouse?
There is no outside world.
See, I don't know what that genre is called, but when there are movies, and usually they're shitty horror, but I love shitty horror, so that plays in for me, where everybody's stuck in a situation like in a house, or they're all on a boat, or they can't leave a certain room. Like, I don't know. I like those.
The Lighthouse trapped. So the deal is, and Robert Pattinson spells this out at one point. Again, no spoilers. He's just like, I was looking for a job. Willem Dafoe's asked him, like, how'd you get into this? And he's like, look, I heard that you could make $400, even $600, or $400 up to $1,000 a year being a lighthouse, being a wiki, we'll just call it, the lighthouse guy, being a wiki out here. I figure that much money, and the farther you are away from shore, the more money you make. I figured this was the job for me, and I'd get this money, and I'd do this, and that, and the other with it. It's just the two of them on this island. And when I say island, I mean like
it's like a rocky outpost.
You can walk across the island in 10 minutes, no problem. And there's a lighthouse on it. There's a small shelter, and there's a generator that's like coal fed to run like an air horn that's always going off, like to warn ships away. And Willem Dafoe is like, yeah.
Is that always in the movie too? A faint hum of a horn? Because
I don't know if I can handle it.
Full volume.
It comes and goes.
The mic right there.
It comes and goes. There's plenty of scenes without it. But Willem Dafoe is very domineering, and they're supposed to share the duty of going up to the very tip top of the lighthouse and operating the bulb or whatever, the flame it is. Willem Dafoe's like, she's mine. You don't touch her. You don't even get to see her. Now you get back to your duties. And he's just like, the book says that we're supposed to share duties. The only book on this island is my book. And the guy's just like, all right, well, I'm new here. Now you swab that deck and you swab it good. I already swabbed it twice. You'll swab it till your knuckles are bleeding. If I tell you to pull every nail out of this building and suck the rust off of them until they're shining and then build the whole thing again, you'll do it and you'll like it. And he's just like, fuck. All right.
Sounds good. I'm watching this.
Yeah, watch it and let me know what you think. Because after I was done, I wished I hadn't watched it. It was just too much for me with the whack.
It's a bit of
wacky.
morality about easy money, huh? That's what you just learned from that.
There's a little bit of that built in there, but there's also a lot of insanity built in there. I don't know what the movie was about yet. I probably need to watch. I'm usually really good at this. Like, I get it. This time I was just like, the fuck did I just watch? And why was there so much gore?
That genre you just described, what the fuck did I just watch, is my dad's favorite genre of movie. And anytime I get a movie recommendation, he'll be like, "Oh, I just saw this really great movie," and he'll send me an email, and I'll look at that email, and I'll be like, I don't know if I want to do that to myself tonight. Like, there's no way it's going to be an enjoyable movie. I'm at no point going to finish that movie and be like, this was great. I'm going to be like, what the fuck was that? And why did I watch that? Is the only outcome that can come out of that.
I kind of like that when I finish a movie sometime. Like one that I'm like, what the fuck was that about? And you kind of, let it marinate for a bit. And
it's free on Prime. I just remembered. It's free on Amazon Prime. So
but that's like something you want as like a mood, right? Like you have a mood, you want to watch something easy, you want like an action in the background or something. You want to enjoy, you want a comedy, you want to laugh at something. This is like one you want to feel bad about yourself or something. Like my dad's movies are like, it's that genre. It's like, you don't know what the fuck happened. Everyone is kind of an asshole. You kind of hate everyone in it. You wish you hadn't seen it. And you're like, is that a good movie? I don't know.
This one's mind bending. I after I was done with it, I had a couple of theories that to name them would spoil the film. But I wasn't sure, and I wasn't even sure that the filmmakers knew what the movie was about or what had actually occurred in the movie. So yeah, check it out if you're into that sort of thing. It's free on Prime. It's about an hour and 40 minutes long. It's not one of these it's not like Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, which I highly recommend, which is like 3 hours long or over 3 hours or something. Maybe 2 hours 40 minutes. I don't recall exactly.
It's like Lord of the Ringsy in length, which is long.
Yeah, totally worth it. Brad Pitt won an Oscar for that. I just I didn't realize that until last night. I didn't watch the Oscars this year. Like whenever I'm on the movies subreddit, and someone will ask for a good like sci-fi horror movie, everybody's always recommending Event Horizon, and then you look at the Rotten Tomatoes for Event Horizon, it's like 30%, something like that. It's real shit.
What's your guys? I mean, one is hard. What's like in no particular order, top 3 movies all time? And if it's a series of movies, just name the series so you don't have to split it.
Godfather 2 is my number 1. The Shining is number 2, and 3 is probably Shawshank Redemption.
I struggle with recency bias a lot when topics like this come up. Like the first one that popped in my head was Endgame. Like I really, really like that movie, but is that just recency bias?
Maybe, yeah. Like, think about like you as a kid or a young man, those.
Okay, like old school Star Wars, I liked a lot, but I rewatch them and I'm like, oh, this was actually slower paced than I thought it was. Like it was better in my memory than if watching what I'll call the 4th one, which is the oldest one. Yeah, it's not as good as I thought it was at the time.
Yeah, they're pretty garbage.
I would say the Lord of the Rings, American Psycho. I really like The Thing.
Ooh,
that Carpenter movie.
Yeah, John
Carpenter movie.
Kurt Russell.
Of all the horror movies I've ever seen, I think that's my favorite one because it does a good job of I love thrillers, but I like the horror aspect. And a lot of the time, the thrillers you see that are really good aren't very scary. It's more just like, what's going to happen next? What did they just discover? Where are they moving? What have they just got? Like that kind of thing. This is like a thriller horror that genuinely is scary and keeps you on the edge of your seat. So
The Thing is an excellent movie. John Carpenter made a lot of cool movies like that. I like the music. I like the setting. I like all the characters. There's a lot of good character actors in there, but the practical effects steal the fucking show. The practical effects in that are amazing. There's no CGI. It's fucking when that body fucking he's doing chest compressions on this guy, and the guy's entire chest opens up, sprouts teeth, and like because he's doing chest compressions, his hands go inside the man, and the body bites the guy's arms off up to like the elbow. It's so fucking crazy.
I've got my 3.
It was spooky.
They're not going to be great. People make fun, but here it is: Endgame, Indecent Proposal, a movie I didn't even enjoy, but I was really impressed with how much it made me feel, like it moved me. And the first Paranormal Activity, another one, not a cinematic great, but it scared me, like it moved me, and that's what impresses me. And that's what I guess I'm judging it by right now.
in theaters, that scared the shit out of me.
Yeah.
It scared me more than I let on to the people I was with, where they're like, everybody's jumping, and I'm just kind of like, haha, bitch.
That didn't scare me.
Some of that Paranormal Activity has had me completely engaged and wrapped up and vulnerable to what it was trying to do to me.
Yeah.
So good movie.
It's a very good movie. I thought it was excellent too. Quick topic shift, Taylor. I've been looking for movies for you. I like doing this. I can't find
appreciate
anything.
it. I trust your judgment.
I can't find anything for me to watch, so I can at least take pleasure in like finding things for you to watch because I've watched too much shit and I'm out. There's nothing left, and I don't want any recommendations anymore because
Dude, there are huge gaps in my movie viewing. Like there are times you'll list like 6 movies and I'm like, haven't seen it.
Penny Dreadful is all I have left, and I'm just I don't know what I look at it and I'm like someday I'll watch when you're all done. But there's nothing left for me to watch. I have nothing. But I saw this movie advertised because I know you like shitty horror movies and you like retards. I found a shitty horror movie about a retarded kid who looks in a mirror and sees a demon, and I mean full blown retarded. The actor is playing it up, and he's just like, "Oh no, they're the demon," and it's just they're like, and the demon's like, "I'm gonna take you over," and he's like, "No," and the demon like holds him down, like crawls into his skin, and now it's like in him.
Did they hire a non-retarded actor for this role?
If they did, he deserves a fucking Oscar because I believed every minute of this guy being a
never go full.
Did they discover he was Kyle? Did they discover he was possessed because they went to like a restaurant and he ordered off the menu and you're like, Scott, you can't read. But the demon
they just like, there's something wrong with Scott. The car honked outside and he didn't lose his fucking mind and start punching a hole in the wall. Okay, we just like,
so
we're worried about
Scott. Evil Within, and I'm looking. I'm trying to get Zach. If you search the Evil Within, like maybe if you do an image search, you could find a picture of the kid, because like, goodness, he looks retarded. But it literally is a movie about a retarded guy who like starts talking to a demon in the mirror and it possesses him. And I'm saving that one for one night when like, I don't know, I have some friends over and like we want to see something awful because it looks it.
Well, it's a video.
Wait,
game
hold on.
well.
This says it's a 2017 horror film written and directed by blah blah blah. It was originally titled The Storyteller. The film's conception and development was a personal project of Getty's, who largely self-financed it from $4 to $6 million. Production took 15 years to complete. How?
What?
15 years?
What do they like, build a set?
No, this was the guy died in 2015. Andrew Getty, the director, died in 2015. Editing for the film was completed by producer Michael Luceri. So what the fuck? 15 years in development? How is that possible?
Well, it took 15 years to get here, but finally,
it better be tremendous.
A tremendous.
I've seen that himself as a child and an adult.
Now I've seen this actor before, Kyle. This guy's not retarded. He's a good actor. Though.
See, this is bullshit. Like non-retarded people are stealing jobs from retarded people.
Can I add one onto that?
I
don't think that living people should be able to play dead people anymore.
This makes sense.
Yes.
I want only. They're taking good jobs away from hardworking corpses.
I would love it if corpses were generally played by corpses in films.
Can you imagine actors up in arms about that? They'd be crying about it.
I've been playing a corpse since '72. All right, that's me and Saving Private Ryan. There I am.
Bob.
Here I am with Tom Hanks.
What is it? SAG starts unionizing.
Like every
automated corpses.
Every great movie for the last 50 years, he just zooms in on the background. That's me, dead on the floor. Yep. No,
dude, this guy that you thought was retarded, Kyle. Look at him again. Look at his face. His name is Frederick Kohler, and he's 46 now. But look at his face again. He was J.K. Simmons' Nazi son in Oz.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
yeah.
I remember that.
You talk that so they filmed this 15 years ago. See, when you said in production, I assumed that like they built the sets and like 10 years went past, and then they started acting, and then like this got made 3 years ago or something. You're telling me they filmed this shit 15 years ago and it's just now?
Yeah,
out?
this was done. This was like finished and ready to go, but not edited as of like 14 and a half years or before it was released.
Well, that's what you're seeing there is the demon like crawling inside of the retarded boy, like forcibly.
That's a lot to crawl in.
Yeah, he's gonna fit though.
I'll watch this. I really like how you can see the strings holding the demon up. Can you bring that back? Do you guys notice that? Do you see the strings holding the demon arms up? No wonder production, took
I don't
so
think
long.
I saw any. Well,
Look at the strings.
Fuck, I can see them tied in a little knot there at the joint.
Yeah, see? That's terrible.
It's not even
That's
like
great.
they're trying to fucking like lazy Susan knot or some shit right there.
I
tie
it's like part of it.
You tie up
Maybe
a
it's meant to
steak
be
better
like
than that.
popping or something. It's like it's deal.
Why?
Oh,
I'm gonna watch this. I love campy, shitty horror. The Evil Within. I'm writing that down.
Well, enjoy. I saw a movie that combined two of your favorite things, and I just knew I had to get it to you. I got a little notebook I've been writing ideas down in, but I lost my pen, so
Yeah. You played Andrew Schilling.
pen.
I mean,
yeah. I gave you a couple movie recommendations. What did you actually end up watching?
I watched The Reanimator, the first one, the horror movie that is absurd.
Yeah,
it's absurd. Kyle was like, look up this one for a goofy horror. And so I looked it up, and it's basically this silly nonsense about some mostly bad actors trying to discern how long a brain can live when oxygen starved. And there's like a very minor part of the film to establish conflict between the new young scientist and the old traditional scientist on this. And the old scientist is like, the brain can live 6 to 12 minutes without oxygen. And the young guy walks in. He's like, that'd be interesting if any of it were true. And just very much that's all they needed to show for that. These guys have 4 or 5 debates about 6 to 12 minutes, the number throughout the movie, where I'm like, who wrote this? Again, we're talking about 6 to 12 minutes as
it's
this
important
really deciding factor. I know, but it's funny that they had the same conversation over and over. And
they have this
me, you're like,
injection.
you'll see if they have nudity in it. And I'm like, I see some tits. I don't think that's what you mean. You're like, oh, well, tell me if they have the head rape scene. And they do. There's a disembodied.
Hang on, let's see if either of them can
for that.
guess. He told you head rape, but you have no idea what he's even talking about. Guess what happens during the head rape?
You grab the lady who has 2 ponytails and you fuck her skull.
Not even close.
This is a test subject for the oxygen trials here, and someone rapes like a disembodied head that's trying to be held without oxygen.
You're close, but you got the script flipped, my friend. So you got this guy's head gets cut off, but he's been injected with a reanimator serum. So his body comes over and picks the head up and starts walking around with it. And the head's still, they're 2 different individuals now, essentially. The body is sort of its own guy. And they have the hottie of the movie tied to this bed, naked, and like full frontal bush and everything. And the head is taking the body is taking his head in his hands and making it like lick her titties and go down on her and stuff. And she's, no! And it's ridiculous. And just as it's about to eat her pussy, the hero shows up. He puts a stop to all that. It's good
well,
stuff.
he didn't get there in time because there's like 2 minutes of that head thing in the head thing was funny because he was like the disembodied head was like talking to the woman like as he's like molesting her, and he's like, I've always admired your beauty. And it's like, and he's just rubbing a dead head on her titties.
If the disembodied head had ponytails, I would have been closer.
Yeah, it's his friend's daughter. So there's a whole age gap thing and like a creepy uncle thing. The girl from that is in that other movie I recommended to you. She gets pretty naked in that one too. That one is way crazier. It's got Jeffrey Combs in it. What's it called? The not the house, the other one. It's the first one I recommended where it's got Jeffrey Combs in it. It's the one where that gross protrusion comes out of the center of their heads.
Oh, I need to watch that one.
Anyway, the chick gets in a whole dominatrix outfit in that one. She's very attractive, that lady. I don't know her name. I'll find the name of it. Yeah, no, that's a great movie. The House is another one. The House is very funny and scary at the same time. He's like a Vietnam vet moving into a haunted house, and he has both like Vietnam scary flashbacks juxtaposed with sort of silly hijinks in the house. It's wild.
I like those ridiculous horror movies. They keep you entertained because there's a good mix of gore that's silly, so it's not like bad gore to deal with, and writing that's bad and it's writing that's bad, but it's trying to be good, which is the kind of writing you want.
It's called From Beyond. That's the fucking the one you want. And look at there's Barbara Compton fucking nude too. Yeah, she gets naked a lot in that movie. That's good stuff. And if you want to see more of Barbara Compton, you'll watch you know, that movie I just linked there that I've already forgotten the name of, From Beyond. Also a very good movie. That one's weird. They create this like weird interdimensional like monster making machine in the basement or some shit, and there's all sorts of body horror and sex and kink.
Oh, I've seen that one. That's From Beyond. I just forgot the name. That's a good one.
Okay. House is good though. I would definitely recommend House, just not its sequel.
It's a horror kick you guys are on.
Jeez,
I'm
he
watching
asked
this
for-
film, so Zach linked it. Here's a woman. There's a disembodied head, like they said, and a guy holding it. She's not as bound up as Kyle made her out to be. Like her hands are free, just at her side willingly saying, no, no, no. It's
she wanted it.
She's on a special serum that only lets your tits move.
So when he put the head on her boob, she was like fighting back a little. When he goes down on her, all of a sudden it's like, no, no, no. It's a totally different vibe.
They put a little humor in there. They put a little silliness.
Yeah. I think he asked for cheesy horror or silly horror or funny horror or something like that.
It was a good one.
Those three are like top tier for that.
Yeah.
I like Jeffrey Combs anyway. He played a bunch of aliens in Star Trek. He was Wei Yun in Deep Space Nine and some others.
Do you like cheesy horror, Filthy? Or not really your genre?
It's not generally what I go for, but occasionally a well done one can be fun. Sometimes tough. You like if it's too cheesy and campy, I can't get into it enough to enjoy it. But like if it's if it's not funny enough, it's also not good. So it's like there's a fine line for towing
That's
that
very
shit.
true. And it's like it can if it is a horror comedy that like they're writing it to try and be funny overtly, it's usually not good. That Reanimator one was good. Like they had a fun little ridiculous balance, but I don't like when they try to do bad writing. It's good when like there's this movie called Shrooms. There's this horror movie from like 2006. It's fucking awful. But it's good because they were really trying to make a really scary movie, and it just fails every single step of the way. It's just sucks. And I remember watching it and being like, I'm really enjoying this. This is fun.
That's the sweet spot. Exactly what you just described. It's no good if they're trying for it. I agree.
They have to fail. They have to fail at making a good movie in a funny way.
Yeah.
But if they'll never succeed in making a funny movie in a good way because they can't.
That's what
the
The
whole
Room
point.
does, right?
Sure.
Do you guys know The Room?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. It's a vanity project.
Oh, hi, Mark. Like, what does he say? The parts in
I
I
did
watched
not
that
hit
movie.
her.
How's
Mark,
your
I
sex
did
life,
hit
Mark?
her. This is crazy, Mark. Why are you coming at me for this? Like, and he like has there's terrible cadence. He dubbed his own movie, and so there are times where he's talking over himself.
Yeah,
like
lots
he's
of ADR.
talking over himself. Like,
Have you seen Trolls 2? Trolls 2 is the worst.
I haven't seen Trolls 1. I don't know.
I can't watch The Room because it's so slow.
Can I follow
and
Trolls 2 if I haven't seen Trolls 1 first?
No,
It's completely different. It's completely different. Yeah, they give up on the whole. Trolls 2 doesn't even have trolls in it. That's how bad it is.
Okay.
Yeah, if I remember, it's some sort of like green
Who are
food
the bad
additive
guys?
or something weird. It's some sort of poison. You got to watch it. There's a scene where the kid pisses on dinner because it freezes time or something. I can't remember. There's a lot of crazy shit. No, he pisses on the food so they won't eat it because it's poison. Trolls.
You ever seen Leprechauns from the Hood?
I have seen Leprechauns from the Hood.
Of course you have.
Yeah. Have you seen Samurai Cop? I watched Samurai Cop on LSD and laughed my fucking ass off. That's one where they're trying real hard to make a good movie. And the actor is trying to deliver his lines well. But they fall out of his mouth like a fucking body being dumped out the back of a hearse. Just awkward and messy. Just nothing makes sense what he's saying. You listen to me, you sons of bitches. This is America. And we don't want you drug dealing murderers here, fucker. and it'll hold on his face. There's no cuts back and forth, like just letting him slowly deliver this awful dialogue for like 2 minutes, then cut to bad guy, and he goes, "Argh!" And it's ADR. It's not even him doing it. It's garbage. It's the one
where you've probably seen the awkward or the reaction. His partner is a black guy, and there's a scene where a waitress or a nurse and our main character, the samurai cop, are having like a sexy, smoldery conversation where he's hitting on her and she's not having it. She saw his dick and she asked if when he got circumcised they took too much off, and the black guy goes like does like a react face, and that react face has been memed to eternity and beyond.
And do they like hold it on the react face too long?
Way too long. Well, they cut right to him, and there's no soundtrack or anything, so nothing flows. Samurai Cop is the funniest bad movie I've ever seen, and it is not even close to being good.
I watched a horror movie last night, and I'm not sure I know the name of it. It's first of all, not that scary, not really a horror movie. It was kind of like Groundhog Day in that she relived the same day all the time and kept dying.
Russian Doll.
She was in a sorority, and they kept killing her.
Oh yeah, is it
Get Home, Home to You?
It's like, oh, they're making a sequel of it.
Yes, and it's out now, or I think I saw it. Yeah. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, I know exactly.
I tried to Google it. I didn't find what I needed.
It's I don't fucking know either. I don't know the name of it, but is everything whatever. But yeah, I know.
The movie
of that.
sucked. Don't
I've
watch
heard of
it. Not that you could, because we don't know the name.
Yeah, right.
I thought you would know. Well, you do.
I haven't seen it. I just know of it, and like a lot of movies I don't watch. I'm guilty of judging books by their cover a lot of the time. So I try not to watch too many stinkers. But and especially in horror, it's kind of hard to weed through the horse shit and find a good horror movie. I think
when you're looking for horror movies, you almost have to resign
Happy
yourself
Death Day.
like,
there you go.
Happy Death. I googled sorority horror movie Groundhog Day. And,
That'll do it.
Happy Death Day. It was really disappointing. I was looking for something that would have me actually scared, and at no point are you scared watching them.
Were there any titties?
No, there were no titties. I don't know what.
See, that's where Hollywood should make two kinds of horror movies: actual frightening, psychologically based horror, and slasher movies with titties. Those are the only two kinds I ever want to watch.
It was like they were going for PG-13. I don't see their rating on here.
And they used to have A-list chicks get topless in there. Jamie Lee Curtis was always showing them big old perfect boobies off in those movies. It was great.
Yeah, and there were hot girls in it. Like the sorority she was in was like a top sorority, and all of them were, super hot. And like one of the key aspects of the movie is that she doesn't eat a cupcake. So, but no boobs.
I feel like the percentage of horror movies that are shitty is like 5 times as high as in any other genre of movie.
Agreed.
Yeah, it's there's a lot of reasons for that. One of them, it's sort of the entry for like directors who are starting out because they're cheap to make and they can do really well.
Oh, I'd never even thought about that.
Yeah, they're often very cheap to make, but they can blow up and be very successful. Like the Blair Witch Project or Paranormal Activity, or any of those original slasher films. Very cheap to make.
But anything can be
Saw
cheap
had some
to
stars
make.
in it.
Rom-coms can be cheap, right?
Yeah, but it's hard to make a rom-com go off without.
Draw.
There you go. Yeah, you got to have stars to pay. You can have no-name actors getting slashed up left and right.
I was about to say what made what was the Tom Hanks one with the letters? You've Got Mail.
No.
Might have been called You Got Mail.
Are you thinking of The Notebook? And that wasn't Tom Hanks. That was what's his fuck?
I think I'm thinking of You Got Mail, and it might have been Tom Hanks and
the
Meg
emails.
Ryan.
Meg Ryan.
Yeah, and there's nothing about it expensive. Oh, except by the way, Tom Hanks and Meg Ryan are in it, and it would have never been a hit if they weren't. So
yeah,
I get it.
Yeah, that's the thing. But with slashers, you can have and oftentimes you make somebody's out of nobodies. Jennifer, what's the fucking girl she was in Passengers with
Jennifer
Star
Lawrence.
Jennifer Lawrence started out doing.
Oh yeah, I didn't know that.
Last House on the Left. I think she's in that. Like where she gets raped real good and beat up, and then her parents catch the guys who did it and torture them to death, and they microwave one guy's head.
I like Jennifer Lawrence. I've said this a million times, but she's an athletic Hollywood actress, and too often they're they move like models, and she moves
She's
like
a
an athlete.
fat-faced germaphobe that's weird and hasn't had sex in like well over a year. She says she just seems like a no fun kind of lady. Her Stern interview made me think of her as just a real stick in the mud that you wouldn't want to be friends with. Like
Counterpoint, I think I saw her diddle her own pussy in The Fappening, and I agree, kind of fat-faced, but hot enough. Look, she's
in her
solid
prime,
neck down.
she's quite hot. Yeah,
Is she out of her prime now? I don't think I've seen her recently.
it depends what role she's working on. Yeah, they're like UFC fighters on weigh-in day when they get naked on screen.
Yes, which is cool to me. Like I don't know. Like there's something cool about that. They are like UFC fighters on weigh-in day.
Your boy's not fighting Stipe, by the way. Let me do an ad real quick.
No, okay.
I guess is cannibal like he could find a dead guy and eat him. It doesn't mean he killed someone, right?
Well, that's a good point.
You just eat.
Yeah,
like,
but nobody wants like human roadkill.
I mean, if we don't know the mind of this maniac,
I like to imagine my father's not a maniac. He's one of those like thoughtful cannibals, right?
He's a gourmet cannibal.
Yeah, like he's just like
a Hannibal Lecter.
Well, sure, okay,
but without the murder. And no, Hannibal Lecter
picky about who he.
Yeah. What if you're like a really health conscious cannibal?
I only eat healthy people.
Yeah, you only hang out outside CrossFit meets.
That's the Netflix thing. The Santa Clarita Diet, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've scrolled past that. I've never watched it though.
I've seen it.
I think it's something like that.
Is it
health conscious cannibals?
Is it good? Or no, not really.
I haven't watched it.
Oh,
I can recommend a movie if you want a movie.
Well, yeah,
it's not about being health conscious.
Is it spooky?
It's about a killer pair of jeans.
Okay. What is it called?
It's on Shudder. It's called Slaxx. It's literally about a killer pair of jeans. And I thought it was amazing because it was mostly just about, it just made me feel dirty as a person because it was all about like how stuff is manufactured overseas to no standards. And there's like dead people that get smushed into the cotton and then woven into the fibers. And they like take a giant shit on retail and corporate culture. It's like watching a giant RoboCop commercial, like with all those old Paul Verhoeven ads.
This is the exact kind of stupid horror that I like. And I still have Shudder. Like I should have like stopped paying for Shudder November of last year because they don't put anything out, or if they do, it's just like rehosted nonsense that's already available everywhere else. But this is probably the only time of year it's good.
Oh wait, you've got drugs, right? So do that and watch Blood Machines. Also very fun.
Blood Machines. I'll do drugs and watch Blood Machines if it looks good. Let's see. Oh, there's a lady. What is it? Her tits are out.
It's like a spacey sort of satanic music video that goes on for about an hour. Lots of naked women, people dying, stuff like that.
Okay. Oh, so it's not like a movie. Like a big...
No, it's like an hour-long music video, but it's fantastic when you're high. You'll just lay there and be like, I'm in space.
I'll give that a go. So like, the most recent one like that I can think of is Mandy was trippy.
Ooh, Mandy's great. We watched Mandy in Colorado last week.
It's a good movie.
Really good.
Nicolas Cage, there's something about that guy, like the way he doesn't care that he's not doing a good job. Yeah, it endears me to him. But he has done a good job before. Leaving Las Vegas, he played that tremendously. He did a great job.
I think he often does his version of a good job. Like I think he's trying. It's that what he's trying to do is very different than what you're expecting.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think he's just being weird. I think he's like got a goal, like a point to like his acting. I think there's a method to the madness, and it just comes off as really weird because he's really weird.
There was
I like Mandy a lot, and like I'm not exactly sure the name. It's either Willy's Wonderland or Wally's Wonderland.
Willy's. Yeah,
I liked that. I think it got really bad ratings, and to be fair, it's a really bad movie. I hated the teenagers. Like all those characters were terrible actors. Nicolas Cage never says a word the entire movie. He grunts a little occasionally, but I don't know, for like a little 90-minute silly movie, it was good. I enjoyed it. He fights animatronics with his bare hands.
Taylor, do you think Nicolas Cage did good in Mandy, or did he phone it in Mandy?
I mean, I think he did a good job. Maybe it's me enjoying the movie bleeding over into thinking he did a better job, but no, watching him do Mandy, I never jumped out. That's the one where he's like in the bathroom, like chugging vodka, screaming. Like I thought he did a pretty good job in that movie.
Yeah.
Did you not like him in that?
No, I thought he did great. That was the only movie where it looked like the camera operator got nervous. Like you can see them like panning in, and Nicholas starts wilding out, and you can see them kind of like shake and like maybe move it back a little bit to be safe from him. And that
I don't know what he's going to
really
do.
well.
Yeah. I've heard this spoken about before. They weren't afraid of him because he's Nicolas Cage. That's pretty scary, but for different reasons. But they didn't know what he was going to do, so they didn't know how to frame the shot. And he's being really dynamic. Like he's moving around and he's standing up and sitting down and he's being crazy with that bottle and screaming and shit. So like they literally don't know how to frame the shot because it's not like storyboarded. There was just someone just wrote on a piece of paper, Nicholas has a bad time in the bathroom.
And he just
goes in there and has a bad time in the bathroom. No, I dig that movie a lot. It's better with drugs for sure. Dark room, lots of drugs, and it's a really good fucking movie.
I don't like the first half. That part's really kind of hard to swallow. The trippy stuff at the end is way more fun, in my opinion.
I like the full trip. I like the stuff at the beginning. I feel like it's really soothing.
The very beginning.
The whole thing, man. When they're flying over those trees at the very beginning with the helicopter shots.
Yeah. I'm talking about the horrible Manson family.
When Manny's walking down that foggy like path. When she's talking about we were talking about their favorite planets and they're like getting these psychedelic sort of visuals. All that shit's cool.
I'm in total agreement. If you like that, I know films from the same director that does similar things. So,
oh yeah, I think I was looking into like what else he had done, and it was.
What are some good ones you'd recommend from that guy?
Beyond the Black Rainbow. It is way more artsy than Mandy, with way less spoken words. It's going to feel a little bit more like a college art film, but it's probably a much better movie. And he also did some consulting on a movie called The Void, which is
I love The Void.
I've seen The Void. I like that.
The first 45 minutes is not so hot, but man, that end goes so far off the fucking rails. It redeems all the rest of it.
Yeah, I love anything that's what's the fucking writer? The Cthulhu guy.
Lovecraftian.
I love anything with like any Lovecraftian elements. So I really like The Void. That's fucking cool.
I wish they would make. I mean, I guess they've already made multiple, but like, was it Sinister or Insidious, the one where they're watching those tapes of people die? Whichever one of those two it was.
I get them mixed up as well.
They made like 3 of them.
But I think you're talking about the one with the Bagul.
I think so. The one where like he watches the beginning of the movie is like all the people strung up, like hanged, and then like the guy cuts off the limb on the tree and it like counterweights it, and then they all go up like kicking and like dying in slow motion. And they see lots of horrific videos. That really spooked me. I liked that movie a lot. So I hope they make. I could see it's like a rinse and repeat kind of thing with that formula. They could make another one.
I like they did. They made several of them.
I mean, on top of that, yeah.
I haven't seen a good horror movie in a while. We watched a bunch of old shit when we were in Colorado. Like a lot of old shit. I watched a bunch of
old stuff.
Like Friday the 13th and Halloween's and a couple of Nightmare on Elm Streets that I had never seen before. Like a bunch of that old stuff. And
Candyman, Hellraiser.
Oh, and I watched Samurai Cop for the first time ever.
Oh God,
fucking great.
You recommended that? Yeah, I haven't watched it yet.
Big time. Don't do it sober. Don't do it sober.
Not an issue.
But watch Samurai Cop if you're out there listening to this. I think I actually watched it for free with ads. This is a movie like I didn't mind ads because like in the like 45-second ad break, we like look at each other like, what are we watching? Like, what the fuck is this?
It's cool. Yeah. That's purportedly, I haven't seen it, but I'll watch it.
It's really bad. But
this is the time of year every year that I rewatch The Thing for like the millionth time. That's got to be like one of my top 3 favorite movies of any genre. The Thing. It's just so good.
It's really high up there for me too. It's a formula that's been copied a bunch of times over. They even made an X-Files episode that was like a copy of the paranoia of being stuck up there and not knowing friend from foe after a certain point, and the group keeps getting smaller and smaller, and the whole paranoia thing is really interesting. That they're worried about the monster that's outside, but maybe the monster within, right? It's kind of like those old Twilight Zone episodes to some extent, but it's really good. It's John Carpenter's best movie, I think, because I hate
better than Big Trouble in Little China.
Yeah, that's a movie he made. It's I like it. I don't love it. It would be in my top 5 from John Carpenter, but I like Escape from New York. I hate Escape from LA. I'm not going to rank all the movies. Red Letter Media just did a thing where they ranked.
I literally
all
just
movies.
watched all of that.
It's really fucking
but
good.
now The Thing is probably the most universally recognized as his best work. It's very, as the Red Letter Media guys say, it's a perfectly constructed film.
Yeah, I like it. Kurt Russell makes the movie though. He's my favorite part of it. It's fucking great. It would make a good video game, I think. Did they ever make a Thing video game?
They did. It was not very good. It came out like very early into PlayStation 2 when they hadn't figured out like how first-person controls should work. So navigating your character was kind of like an N64 nightmare on a PlayStation controller. And it had this thing where you could test people to see if they were the Thing, except it didn't actually work because whoever the Thing was part of the story. So that part stunk. There's a prequel, it's all right, but the if you're into The Thing, there's a short story. I think it's like a fan fiction, but it's written from the point of view of the Thing. Super fun to read.
Interesting.
Yeah,
and it is like is Skinwalker? Is that the right thing? Like a or Wendigo? Like some like spirit that takes over and like looks like people.
It's like an alien that like if you get like just a little bit of it on you or in you, it'll start multiplying, it'll copy your DNA and take all of you over, but it retains all of its old information and knowledge. So you're dead, it's replaced you, and it can instantly split and morph into any of tens of thousands of other aliens that it's eaten over the centuries or aeons or whatever.
You didn't see the part at the beginning where like the alien spaceship crashes into Antarctica?
No,
Yes.
I wasn't talking about The Thing specifically. I was meaning like how those movies, like if you read like paranormal forums and stuff, they're always like skinwalkers, like creatures that become people and then they infiltrate groups. And so it's like, I wouldn't call it a trope, but it's like,
I can't remember who it is, but there's a famous musician who believes in skinwalkers. And he was telling a story on Howard Stern. I wish I could remember who it was because it's like a notable musician who you'd be like, oh yeah, that guy. But he said that he watched one like mid-transformation, changing from
into
like
what?
I can't remember exactly what it was, but like it was something absurd, of course, you know, like from a man into like a wolf or something.
So a werewolf, maybe.
or you know, into an ostrich, whatever the fuck he saw. I can't recall exactly what it was, but like
I feel like that would drive me fucking crazy. I'd lose my mind if I saw something like that. Drive faster.
I don't know if this is just
you've seen some stuff that I would already think I'd lost my mind. Like you're seeing dark people in shadow realms and demons, and
I've never seen The Realm, just the people.
He's just